All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, I'm definitely not America's sweetheart, but I am Tim Jones, and I can say good afternoon for the first time in a long time. It's great to fill in for the vacationing Annie Frey. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. I'll be with you today from noon to 3. Crane Durham back tomorrow, and I'll be back for an encore performance next Wednesday as well, as Annie's down in the land of Mickey, I believe. Right, Frank? That's where she is, right?
She's at Disney World with the entire family. She was scheduled to have lunch with Mickey yesterday. They got on a plane bright and early yesterday morning, and they had lunch with Mickey scheduled.
Lunch with Mickey. Also one of my favorite places in the world. My wife Suzanne could take it or leave it. You know, I drag her down there every 4 or 5 years. I say, it's for the children. It's for the children. It's for our daughters. She doesn't always buy that, but we have a good time down in Florida. Go there often, got a lot of family down there. So I know I know for a fact Annie's having.
It's the happiest place on earth.
It is the happiest. How can you not be? And here's one of the happiest guys on earth. Just entering the studio, Tony Colombo. He'll
no pressure, Tony.
He'll plug in, get all plugged in, and get all earphoned up. And you're like me, right? You love Disney World.
Oh yes, I didn't know you were a Disney guy.
I'm a junkie.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you and I should go together.
We should
geek out.
We should. Let's do a show about Disney World.
Matching hats
I
and
think
shirts.
Jeff Allen needs to work out something where we all get to go and we get sponsored and we have a week in Disney World.
Yeah, done.
I'm sure he'll agree to that.
I'm sure he will.
Jeff Allen's like, why is Tim filling in today? This is horrible. It's already gone off the rails.
Disney Day 2 for Annie. I hope that she is enjoying it as much as you and I do, and I can't imagine that she's not.
Yes. Not as much fun up on Capitol Hill. Fireworks. There's a little segue. Fireworks on Capitol. Kind of like the fireworks at Disney World. And Tony, I was listening to the back and forth. Peter Strzok is on the hot seat. He had 11 hours of closed testimony a week or two ago. Mm-hmm. He's back for round 2 of open testimony.
I learned something new today.
Oh, what did you learn?
We have been pronouncing his name wrong all this time.
It's not Strzok?
It's Strzok.
Really?
Strzok.
Double O. Yes, it's Strzok.
You say Rosenstein, I say Rosenstein, potato.
Right.
But it is Strzok.
Who knew?
Yeah. I didn't know up until about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, it's Strzok.
Strzok.
Is that that sounds
Strzok.
Scandinavian?
I like even less.
Yeah.
You like Strzok better?
I don't know.
Strzok.
Tony, one thing the American people can't stand is smugness and condescension, right?
Oh.
And this guy is defining that like on steroids.
Yes.
With a straight face, he is saying that those texts about an insurance policy and this will never happen, speaking about the President Trump's presidency, he's saying that that's not bias, that he's with the FBI and the FBI has no bias, therefore Peter Strzok has no bias. What a straw man.
Yeah, absolutely. Trey Gowdy did a great job of illustrating that point today. Another senator, I spent most of the morning doing my normal morning routine with this testimony in the background. So I was listening, but I wasn't watching. So I don't know which senator it was, but there was another senator illustrating and reading. His words are so damning.
Yes.
Against him.
Yes.
When he was talking about being in a Walmart in Southern Virginia and how he could smell the Trump supporters.
Oh, my God.
And the word smell was all capitalized.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it was just a flippant, quick remark. And he goes, and then whoever the senator was like, okay, that was a flippant, quick remark. How about when you were, when you sent a text another week and you talked about, and you called Trump supporters, I can't remember the exact term, but the word hillbilly was
sure.
in there. It was
clinging to our guns and Bibles. You might as well say that.
It was something hillbilly.
Mm-hmm.
And this senator was like, was that a flippant off the because a one time I'm in a bad mood or I'm sending a joke. Okay. But this went on and over and over again.
Right.
Of the most clear bias that you could ever put out there.
Check out this Trey Gowdy hair.
Trey Gowdy. I love Trey Gowdy.
I love him too, but
he is a strange looking dude.
Yeah. Didn't you and Dave decide once that the spaceship's coming back for him someday?
Yes. Dave calls him Onion Head.
Yeah, so
the haircut, the beard that comes and goes, and I love Trey Gowdy, but man,
he's fantastic.
The hair is weird.
It's weirder today. I don't know what goes on with it. It's distracting. We got this new. This is new. I haven't been in here yet with this. I was here last week, and suddenly there's a change. You got a big monitor over your left.
Yeah,
your shoulder here.
That's good, right?
Yeah, I can.
Like that.
Catherine Herridge looks like she's like literally standing behind you. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a life-size screen. That's fantastic. So. Mm-hmm.
But the headline right there is exactly the point I was.
Yes.
It says Gowdy. It says Gowdy says it's a textbook case of bias.
It is.
It's clear.
I'll give you a fancy legal phrase. There's a fancy legal phrase called, maybe you've heard this before, because it's kind of become colloquial to an extent. Res ipsa loquitur. Okay, it's Latin. Mm-hmm. It means the thing speaks for itself. It needs no explanation. Mm-hmm. So that's an old legal axiom that we learned back in law school. Like, for instance, dynamite is a dangerous product. And if you do not store dynamite appropriately, it will explode. And so if someone inappropriately has dynamite and let's say they pour gasoline and light a match and it explodes, well, things are going to blow up and people are going to get hurt. So there's really not much of a case to prove there. So an attorney would say, res ipsa loquitur. That speaks for itself. If you don't store dynamite appropriately, it's going to hurt. Peter Strzok's texts speak for themselves. Like, they don't even need to have these hearings. But the fact they're doing it to make him look even worse, because the fact that he can't admit that those are biased statements, I think most of the American people are going, really? You got to be kidding me. Mm-hmm. So,
and like you said, he's very condescending about it too.
He's unbelievable, unbelievably condescending. We've got a great show for you here today. Besides Frank, Tony, and I, we'll hear from Jeff Manasso after our first break with Fox News Radio. We're going to talk about Brussels, not the Sprouts. We're going to talk about where Trump is over the NATO summit.
Yeah,
isn't it great? He's really he's like the school teacher over there. Yeah, and they're all like his pupils, and he really fills the room, and they can't push back because they need us.
Yeah, and they know they're wrong.
They know they're absolutely wrong.
They know that they signed an agreement and they're not living up to it. So you can, if you want to argue with me about the president's words or the way he delivers his message, then okay, maybe we can have a talk about that.
Exactly.
But if you want to say that the president is over there being demanding and being an embarrassment by what he's saying to these other world leaders, all he's doing is, maybe you don't like the way he's doing it, that's fine, but what he's doing is telling them that they need to live up to the agreement that they already made.
Exactly.
The United States would be held to the same standard if we were the ones not living up to the agreement that we made. The countries around the world would come after us for that. That's exactly what he's doing. He's saying, look, just do what you said you were going to do, and
everything will be fine.
Everything will be fine, and that's all I'm asking.
We can get along.
Yeah.
In the 1 o'clock hour.
I don't understand why people think that that's some kind of...
But because he's saying it, it's wrong to the left. Right. 1 o'clock hour, Representative Phil Cristofanelli will join us in the studio. Have you ever met young Phil, Tony?
I don't believe I have.
You'll like him. He's he's a millennial with a brain.
All right.
Yeah, and he
looking forward to it.
He tends to be, he's a Republican state rep from St. Charles County. Tends to be a little bit more on your end of the political spectrum, a little libertarian there.
I like him even more.
He's a hip guy, young guy, and he just joined the House with Representative Nick Schroer.
Yeah,
who you know very well.
Yeah,
they're in the same class, and he'll join us in studio to tell us about what it's like under the new Governor Parson administration. What the heck happened with all the bills that actually the deadline is in 2 days for signature or veto. Give us an update on Missouri legislation. And more importantly, what's going to come up politically. We'll talk about it this November. Maybe try to pull some predictions out of him on the Senate race.
Yeah, cool.
New poll came out this very week that Hawley is back on top of McCaskill. Okay. I know I'm jumping past the primary here, but that's all they're polling. I'm sorry, I don't have another poll. Right. But we've had Austin Peterson on here a lot on this station. Peter Pfeiffer, Tony Minetti, Cortland Sykes. They've all been on.
Yep.
And folks, there is going to be a primary. You need to have registered to vote by, I think, today or tomorrow.
I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, so if you didn't register, you're out of luck this time.
Yep.
But you can now vote absentee, which is very simple. You can go to the Board of Elections, or you can go on Election Day. The primary is less than 4 weeks away. It's like 26 days away. A lot of important contests, including that Senate race.
August 7th.
If it is Josh Hawley, let's say for the sake of hypothetical arguments, he is currently back on top of Claire McCaskill by about 3 points within margin of error. But Claire McCaskill can't catch a break these days, and I'm not sad about that.
Right.
Between the plane, this Judge Kavanaugh nomination, which is going to be the backdrop from now until Election Day.
Yeah.
These issues of FBI bias, so much of that. Talk to Representative Chris Finelli.
You mentioned the polls a minute ago, and I thought you had a great sentiment when you called into Annie's show the day that we had the Attorney General on, the day that she interviewed Attorney General Hawley, and the callers and the social media people went crazy because he wouldn't answer a question about the primary. He wouldn't answer a question about a debate, or he wouldn't answer a question about any of his competitors in the primary. And as much as I'd like to see that debate, I'd like to hear him engage those. I played devil's advocate on the air with one of the callers that said, why would he? If he has the lead, that the very few, like you just said, there's not a whole lot of polls to look at, but the ones that we do have show it to be basically a no contest in the primary.
Yeah.
I thought your line was brilliant, that one of these competitors, if they believe so much that the polls are closer than it is, then they need to get a poll done, and they need to get it done ASAP, and it needs to be a non-biased poll, and they need to prove that it's closer than what it appears to be.
Yeah.
And if it is indeed closer than it appears to be, then you have a whole lot more solid ground to stand on and demand from the Attorney General to debate, or at least talk about his competitors and why he's better than them. But when it appears that he's got such a lead, why if I'm in his campaign, I'm telling him only focus on Claire.
And you say that as a non-Josh Hawley sycophant.
Not at all. I think he's a very. I think he's
a little too establishment for you.
Yeah, I do not think he's a great candidate. Yeah. I think he's better than Claire, and and
if that's who comes out, I'm sure you'll support him.
Absolutely. But as much as I'd love, and I would love to see a debate, a primary debate. I would love to see them interact. The primary. The primary candidates. But if I was in Josh Hawley's campaign, I wouldn't bother with it.
Yeah. So we'll talk to Phil Cristofanelli about that, state rep from St. Charles County. And finally, in the 2 o'clock hour, we've got one of our good friends from the Illinois Policy Institute joining us, Austin Berg. I love the Illinois Policy Institute. Number one, they were the ones that rolled Mark Janus helped roll Mark Janus all up to the Supreme Court through one of their sister associations, the Liberty Justice Center, if I have that correctly. Austin Berg's going to join us. Illinois has found something else to ban. Now they hate fireworks. Illinois hates the 4th of July. They hate Independence Day. That's what I say. Hey, I'm Tim Jones in for the vacationing Annie Frey. I got Frank Antonio in studio. We'll have Jeff Manasso from Fox News Radio up next on President Trump in Brussels. U.S. farmers, what's that hubbub all about? When we come back on FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Stay in touch and up to date with the 97.1 newsletter, delivered straight to your inbox. Become a 97.1 Insider, and you can receive our weekly newsletter, local and national breaking news alerts, plus exclusive offers from 97.1 advertisers. Don't miss out. Sign up now at 971talk.com.
Tony La Russa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Sometimes I'll talk to you about things that I like to use or that I suggest that you use. And, it's not hard to try it. But when it comes to something like siding your house, that is a huge investment. That is something that you are going to study, research, and you are going to want to use the best product for your home. You love your home. That's why you're going to put your home in the hands of Banner Construction. These guys love quality. They love customer service, and they love satisfying you and the dream that you have for your home. If you're looking at dingy siding on your house, if you've looked at it for a year and then another year and then another year's gone by and you say, hey, we can't put this off any longer. You want that James Hardie fiber cement siding, and you need to have it done by an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. That way you know it's done right. It's an investment. It's a 25-year investment. Make sure it's done right. Call Banner Construction at 314-569-1050, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
When diamond expert Michael Clavenna worked at an ordinary jewelry retailer, he thought he was giving his customers the best value, until he made the switch to Diamonds Direct.
But when I came to Diamonds Direct, I realized how wrong that was. I have so much more ability with this company to offer a bigger diamond at a higher quality for a lower price. It was a big surprise to me because I had been so ingrained with a different culture. I didn't believe it at first. I was very skeptical. So I spent a lot of time just looking at the diamonds that were in my inventory at Diamonds Direct, and I was blown away.
So take it from someone who's seen the difference firsthand. When it comes to diamonds, Diamonds Direct is the value leader.
I can get them bigger diamonds. I can get them more options to view in their price range. Overall, just offer a better value than I have at any other place I've worked. So don't be fooled by the phrase direct diamond importer, because you just can't get any closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Our company was started by former diamond wholesalers.
Diamonds Direct, where St. Louis now gets engaged. Olive and 270 at City Place.
If you're retiring in the next 5 years, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Friday, we'll talk about merit-based immigration with the Center for Immigration Studies, plus J.J. Carafano and Kayleigh McEnany.
On FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Well, good afternoon. Tim Jones in for the vacationing Annie Frey. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show here at FM News Talk 97.1. Great to have you all. Great to speak with you in the afternoon. It's a different story than getting up at 3:45 a.m. to do the morning show, the Mark Cox Morning Show, which I did the last couple of weeks. Mark was on vacation, so a little break up the day with a little Annie Frey Show is very good stuff, and it's great to be here. Crane Durham will be back with you tomorrow, which is Friday, and I'll likely be joining at my usual. I think I'll be joining around 1:40 p.m. I would imagine so. And then I'll be back here next Wednesday as well. So we wish Annie all the best. She posted a little Buzz Lightyear on her Twitter feed in response to me. She said, "To infinity and beyond" today. So yes, that's where we'll go. And let's go all the way over to we'll go to Brussels, Belgium. We'll speak about Brussels, Belgium, where they had the bilateral breakfast and other things going on this week with the NATO Secretary General and with the NATO leaders in general. And joining us now from a national correspondent and anchor with Fox News Radio is none other than Jeff Manasso. He's at Jeff Manasso. Jeff, welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Tim Jones sitting in this week. Thanks for joining us today. Whoop, do I have him?
Sorry about that.
Oh, there he is. Jeff, are you there? I think we potted you up. Now we got you. Okay.
How's that sound? All right? Mic check, test 1, 2.
You're perfect. You're perfect. Well done. You're a radio pro. Hey, Jeff, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. Talk a little bit about what's going on at the NATO summit.
Yeah, so there's all this talk about, besides that, the controversial breakfast in which the president talked with the NATO Secretary General about his need to really get all the members, the partner nations on board with paying more. There was also this talk, about this tweet. President Trump was talking about American farmers and barriers, trade barriers, and tariffs, and what does it mean? President Trump promised on Twitter Wednesday to bolster sales of American farmers' products, tweeting that soybeans fell 50% from 2012 to his election. Saying that farmers have done poorly for 15 years and even beyond. Other countries' trade barriers and tariffs largely to blame, according to the president, for that and the destruction of American businesses, including farmers. He tweeted that he's going to open things up better than ever before, saying that essentially that it's going to take some time to get the job done in the president's fight for a level playing field. For our farmers, a fight that he tweeted that he is going to win. So this is where we're at. We're kind of at a trade stalemate with these nations. You know about the tariffs, the $34 billion that was implemented on Chinese goods last Friday, then the retaliation, and now the White House adding $200 billion more in Chinese products that he intends to hit with tariffs. Talk with the EU, talk with Canada and Mexico. So there's a bit of uncertainty, and so the president, like he always does, is doubling down. He says out of fairness, but it's really nothing new, Tim. I mean, you remember in June's G7 summit in Canada, the president proposed to fellow G7 countries that look, why are we even paying tariffs? I mean, let's eliminate all trade barriers. Let's blow it out, get it out of the way, and so it's an even playing field. And so I think that is where the president is starting his conversation with these folks.
Yeah, Jeff, that's it's going to be it's a huge issue for the entire country, but especially I'm speaking to you from St. Louis, Missouri, and we've got a big Senate race this year with Claire McCaskill, the incumbent, and it seems like that's what. Those who are opposed to Donald Trump and his policies, that was the latest tactic they hooked on to, especially here in the heartland, was, now he's going to destroy family farmers. And, okay, so it seems like the president's very good at pivoting and he always seems to take those issues away. Every time his opponents come up with one, he goes, well, let's do this then. And the market has recovered nicely today because of that as well, it seems.
Well, I know that the White House has said as recently as today that these tariffs haven't really negatively impacted us yet for multiple different reasons, including the fact that it takes time to catch up. There's already goods that have been sold; those need to be consumed, and then the next round, we'll kind of absorb whatever tariffs our companies are paying. But look, if you talk about steel or aluminum tariffs, we're not necessarily going to feel that when we buy a singular can of soda or beer, because obviously it's the tariffs on raw material and things like that, and so companies can absorb some of that. However, I've heard stories of people having to pay more for aluminum benches for a fair in Iowa and things like that, and so it's going to trickle down. But at the same time, you've got farmers, you've got consumers that appear to be a little uncertain as to what's happening. But they're getting this message on both sides of the aisle. And on one, you've got a political party that's saying this is the worst thing in the world. Our relationship with other countries is the most important thing. We need to protect that. And then you've got President Trump that says, "Look, we're going to start doing things differently, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore." And and he also says, "Here, look, wait and see. It's going to take time, but we're going to get it done." And we've already seen concessions from China. We've seen concessions, or at least the appearance that the EU could be a possible trading partner in terms of automobiles with zero tariffs. That seems to be kind of hopeful stuff.
Speaking to Jeff Manasso, national correspondent and anchor at Fox News Radio. He's at Jeff Manasso on Twitter. Jeff, last question for you. Take us, if you can, from what you've seen, what you've been covering, what you're hearing. Take us inside this meeting with these NATO leaders. The other networks like to kind of parse things out. They love the drama. They're trying to say, "Oh, here's the latest battle between Trump and Merkel, or between Trump and the leader from this, that, or the other country." And it's all this soap opera-esque drama. But what's really going on? What's really the mood? I mean, how is our president truly interacting with people and with these folks, these world leaders? How are they interacting with him? Is it a positive meeting? Are they getting anything accomplished? Give us the highlights.
What was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he played that cop who was a kindergartner teacher?
Kindergarten Cop, yeah.
That kindergarten cop?
Yes.
Yeah, the scene when all hell broke loose. That is basically what's happening.
That's what's going on. So it is what it appears. Hey, Jeff, thanks for all the time today. At Jeff Manasso, national correspondent, anchor, Fox News Radio. Really appreciate the update, Jeff.
You bet.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. Kindergarten Cop. That was fantastic. So, yeah, that has been. So, the left has sort of they've pivoted. They've pivoted constantly every few weeks over the last 19 months when they get a topic to resist Trump on. They ride that into the ground, and then when it stops working, they pivot to another topic. So. First, it was the resistance the day after the president was inaugurated. I mean, talk about somebody who did not get a honeymoon. I was up there in D.C. at the inauguration, and the very next day was the resistance march.
Right.
And after that, Tony, it's been one thing after another. It was, okay, we're not going to get his cabinet people selected. And then the Russian collusion. And then it was he shouldn't have fired Comey. And he's going to bring about the end of the world. And, so the latest thing I'm hearing from the left is because they can't argue about the skyrocketing stock market, the great economy, everybody has a job, wants a job, wages going up. Now it's the trade war. The trade war is going to be the end of modern day civilization as we know it. So it's the tariffs. And so that's what they're upset about now. I don't know that this is going to work either because Trump will find a way out of this.
Right. And again, I understand, kind of back to the point I made about him in NATO, and maybe you don't like the way that he talks to these other countries, but his point is a difficult one to argue with. He's over there, particularly with China, saying, you've been charging us so much for so long. We've not charged you anything or so much less in many cases. We've stood by for all this intellectual property theft. I just want to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
He's there. It's hard to argue with his point. Again, you can argue with the way he goes about it. You can argue about the way he says it. But when he says, I just am trying to even the playing field, how can anybody be mad at him for that?
Yeah, listen to this statement he made today about that very subject. And that's a great point. So listen to what he said.
We've been treated very unfairly on trade. Our farmers have been shut out of the European Union. Now, you could say they're different, but basically, to a large extent, they're the same countries. So I think we're going to be ultimately treated fairly on trade. We'll see what happens. But I can tell you that NATO now is really a fine-tuned machine. People are paying money that they never paid before. They're happy to do it. And the United States is being treated much more fairly.
Yeah, how can anyone say we weren't being treated unfairly? That's like a fact. That's an economic fact. And so if we can agree on that, then what's wrong with him shaking up the apple cart and saying, how about we try and fix it?
Yeah.
And the left used to be... Free trade to me is sort of some ambiguous misnomer. How about fair trade?
There you go.
Shouldn't that what we want?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what the liberals really love is fair trade. They like fair trade
President's
coffee.
word
right?
is reciprocal.
Reciprocal,
That's what he always says. Reciprocal.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to be, not only do we do it too much here, we shouldn't be the welfare country for the world.
Right.
Just like we shouldn't be the welfare state for every single one of our citizens. You know, the able-bodied need to kind of row the boat. We shouldn't be the world's cash cow either. But apparently some on the left think that's just wonderful. I don't see how they could agree with that. It's so out of balance.
Yep.
And getting it back into balance, yes, it's going to be some short-term pain.
Yep.
It's going to be some short-term pain for what I think will generally be long-term gain.
So it's worth it to you. In your opinion, it's worth that short-term pain.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think so. And you can see how the market quickly responds to what. So yesterday, everybody was saying, oh, look at this. Once again, the trade war. The market's back up like well over 200 points today. We're knocking on the door at 25,000 again.
Right.
We're creeping back towards the historic high. Mm-hmm. So I think, and all the other economic, and forget about the market, all the other economic indicators, which are more important than the ups and downs of the market, are very strong and valid, no matter what economist you speak with. They just don't like the latest Trump du jour topic of the day. So anyway, hey, we keep rolling through the Annie Frey Show here. Tim Jones in for Annie Frey. Got lots more Trump to talk about when we come back. He's over talking to the NATO countries. Peter Strzok's getting an absolute grilling up on Capitol Hill. Also bring up to speed on Judge Kavanaugh, who I'll give you my legal opinion as an attorney. I think he's one of the best nominees in a long time. All that and more when we come back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Tim Jones filling in here at FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Lots of sunshine in control once again on this Thursday across the St. Louis area. It will be a hot afternoon. 92 for the high tonight. Clear skies, more humid, 70 degrees Friday and the weekend. Maybe a spot thunderstorm Friday. Little better chance of a couple of scattered thunderstorms Saturday and again on Sunday. 95 each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service offers residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com. Hey folks, Annie here to talk to you about Dr. Anna Smith with Dentistry with TLC. When I went to visit Dr. Anna Smith and see her facilities there, she has a wonderful office, prepared to take care of any of your dental needs, but specifically, let's talk about braces. Braces can be an intimidating thing to check into. You're afraid of how much it's going to cost. You're afraid of how long it's going to take. You're afraid it's going to be painful and all that nasty stuff. This is why Dentistry with TLC and Dr. Anna Smith are so fantastic. You can text them right now at 618-466-0733. They're going to set you up with a braces consultation, and it's only $1 through the end of August. That'll save you almost $150. With this consultation, you're going to get a digital panoramic x-ray. It's a quick and painless way to evaluate your situation, your child's situation before school starts, if you know what I mean, and make sure that you get set up for the right solution for you. Financing options are also available for you. DentistryWithTLC.com, 618-466-0733.
Are replacement windows on your to-do list this summer? Not sure who to call? Lakeside Exteriors is offering you 18 months interest-free financing. Or get $100 off every Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass window, now through August 31st. Fiberglass windows will last you a lifetime. They are the sleek and easy-to-operate windows that you've been looking for. Call us at 636-978-5000 or visit us online at lakesideexteriors.com. And let us help you keep the cool air in this summer. Lakeside Exteriors, helping you create your dream home.
How much money will you have saved for retirement when you're ready to call it quits? I don't know your exact number, but I'm guessing it'll be the most money you've ever had in your entire life. You spent decades building that nest egg. Now, how do you protect it from a market correction, taxes, inflation, and high fees? You must have a comprehensive retirement plan, one that shows you how to make smarter investment decisions, one that helps you take control of your taxes in retirement, and one that works in good times and in bad. That's the kind of plan that Steve All and Mel Brandon at the All Financial Group can help you build. Take that first step today by setting up your complimentary retirement review. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. And find out more online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
Oh, heartburn!
one man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength. I'm on my way. Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
Want to try Black Rifle coffee but don't want to order online? Tactical in St. Peter's has every flavor in whole bean, ground, and K-Cups. This is Sig Glockencolt. Black Rifle coffee is to coffee what Tactical is to Black Rifles. Just off Highway 70 in St. Peter's. Black Rifle coffee. The only place to get Black Rifle coffee in St. Louis is from Tactical in St. Peter's. This is Sig Glockencolt. Get your Black Rifle coffee, beans, ground, or K-Cups at Tactical. While you're here, build yourself a Black Rifle or customize yours.
Mr. Struck, if you would please rise, I'll begin by swearing you in.
Keeping you informed and up to date.
I testify today with significant regret. Mr. Struck said, F Trump. Said he should F himself. Trump is a disaster. That is bias. There's no evidence of bias in my professional actions.
The news and talk station for St. Louis.
The witness will answer the question. I will not answer that question.
FM News Talk.
Germany is totally controlled by Russia.
Judge Kavanaugh will fight this nomination.
97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
The Annie Frey Show.
This hour brought to you by the Rick and Tracy Ellis Real Estate Team. Heard right here on 97.1, Saturdays at 9 and Sundays at 10. Visit TracyEllis.com.
Baby, you a song that make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
I know this song makes Jeff Allen just bop along in his office. He loves bro country.
No, I love this song.
He hates it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love this song.
Nothing says summer like a little Florida Georgia line, right? So we're right.
Mm-hmm.
We're right in the middle of it here. Another 90+ degree day, but you know where I'm getting out of the heat and humidity next week. I am heading to New England.
Ooh,
yeah, not a lot of conservatives up there, but they're good people. Yeah, so going into actually parts of New England is live free or die. You know, New Hampshire, Vermont. You know, very rustic, kind of outdoorsy people there. Very kind of self-sustaining folks up there. I'm going up to taking the family, flying into New York next week, and then we're going to drive from New York up to Maine.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to stop at a bunch of places along the way: Boston, New Hampshire, Vermont, and then over to Maine.
Nice. So I've never been to New England.
Oh, you never have?
But it looks beautiful. In about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks from now, I will be in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Yes.
Which my family has some connections to, and I've been to several times. Way up, UP, very top, up on Lake Superior.
Yes.
In the summertime, it is gorgeous.
Yes.
In the wintertime, it is a disaster.
You get out. Yeah.
Yes. Is that the same way up in New England where you're going?
Yes.
Is it not a pleasant place to be?
It's
from about September to April.
It's like here as long as you're on the coastal areas. So if you're in New York City, Boston, and Boston can get pretty rough. But coastal Maine it's cold, a lot of snow, but it's not like the interior. If you go into the interior of Maine, or if you go into upstate New York, like Syracuse, Albany, that area, Buffalo, then you're talking feet of snow and sub-zero temperatures. The moderating influence of the ocean currents keep the coastal areas relatively normal, so to speak. New York's weather, honestly, I lived there, Tony, for almost 10 years. I went to Fordham University, St. John's for law school, and I worked for 2 years in the prosecutor's office in Nassau County. It was the same weather in New York that it was in Missouri 2 days prior. Because it's almost straight across.
Yeah.
It's a little north, but not much. But that ocean moderating influence keeps some of the humidity down in the summer and keeps the worst, horrid winter weather kind of away, too. But you're right. In the summertime, up in Maine, coastal Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, yes. You're talking 70-degree highs.
Gorgeous.
No humidity.
Yeah.
Dry, nice, pristine, clean air. Yeah, it's like the UP. Yeah. I've never been to the UP. I've been to Michigan, but never all the way up. I hear the same thing. I think it's very similar. Everybody's into water sports up there, and in Maine, it's all about lobsters and oysters and clams, and there's whale watching and seals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's very bucolic.
Yes,
it's where Kenny Bunkport is.
Yes,
yeah, Martha's Vineyard, all that hoity-toity stuff.
The UP likes to fancy themselves their own state.
Do they? They kind of think they're their own thing.
Yeah, they don't really claim Michigan. They're just the UP. It's very funny.
I know people from there, and you're right. They do talk about it like it's like the 51st state or something.
Youpers is what they call themselves.
Youpers.
Yep. It's very funny. But it's beautiful up there in the summertime, and I can't wait to be there.
Do you go fishing? Are you a big fisherman?
I'm a huge fisherman, but I don't usually get a chance to fish when we're there because it's usually a very busy family vacation, and we've got other things planned.
If you were to fish up there, what kind of fish would you catch in the Upper Peninsula?
So I only did fish. I did fish one time years and years ago when I was a kid. We we went deep sea fishing in Lake Superior.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just like fishing on the ocean.
Is it really?
Basically. I mean, it's the same type of vessel and the same type of fishing. The lines on the side of the boat down in the water.
The fish get big?
Yeah, they do.
Pretty large.
And we caught several different species and ate them and
cool.
cooked them and eat them.
Oh, isn't that the best?
So we did that one, but I was a kid when we did that. I haven't had a chance to fish up there since. But we did the deep sea fishing, and it was a blast.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the national scene today, we were talking about this earlier. Peter Strzok is being grilled up on Capitol Hill. President Trump is over in Brussels and Belgium at the NATO summit, which I guess wraps up soon. And then I guess he's going to go visit Putin next. Is that part of this trip, or is that in a couple weeks? Or
Putin's the last stop.
He said this today.
He's been very nice to me the times I've met him. I've been nice to him. He's a competitor. Somebody was saying, is he an enemy? No, he's not my enemy. Is he a friend? No, I don't know him well enough. But the couple of times that I've gotten to meet him, we got along very well. You saw that. I hope we get along well. I think we get along well. But ultimately, he's a competitor. He's representing Russia. I'm representing the United States. So, in a sense, we're competitors. Not a question of friend or enemy. He's not my enemy.
That has to make the left light their hair on fire.
My gosh.
By that they'll clip that. He's not my enemy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's horrid.
I don't know if you saw the statement he made. It might have been. We were talking to you about this. He made the statement at the beginning of this trip that meeting Putin at the end would be the easiest part of it. And it made people crazy.
Absolutely nuts. Meanwhile, why is the left not... China is not in their vocabulary. Like the word China doesn't seem to be in their vocabulary.
Right.
And I was listening to Kilmeade's show this morning, and they were making the point... He had somebody on there who... I'm trying to remember who it was. They were making fantastic points about... We really, as a nation, as an United States of America, Republican, Democrat, Independent... We really need to start getting our act together on China, because if we don't, Tony, our next generation Our kids better all learn to speak Mandarin because that's who's going to be the world superpower. And that's what all the business is going to flow through. That's what all the decisions are going to flow through. That's what all the currency is going to flow through because China could have the largest economy in the world in the next couple decades. They already have the largest military by the number of people. And if we don't get our act together and start acting like a true superpower, then they'll eat our lunch, And so I don't know why the left doesn't seem concerned about China, which is the real threat. Russia's a threat because it has nuclear weapons, it occupies a lot of land mass, it controls some natural resources, but their economy is in a shambles. Their economy is smaller than I think Texas's, definitely California's. Mm-hmm. But they're the enemy, they're the boogeyman, despite what Obama said a few years ago about the 1980s needing their foreign policy back to Mitt Romney. Hillary had a reset button. Obama was going to have more flexibility with Putin. Russia was no big deal to the Democrats until Trump got elected. And now there seems to be this meltdown. Why do you think there's no focus on China?
I
it's
think
not convenient?
They don't have any... They of course don't like the president, starting the quote-unquote trade war, but there's nothing good to latch on to when it comes to talking about China. There's nothing there for them. It doesn't fit any narrative that they have.
Yeah.
There's no layup, easy, well, here's the part of the China issue that we can latch on to and prove why the president's lying. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, because Trump's he's been tough on China. So since he's been very tough on China, you're right, it wouldn't do the Democrats any good by being easy on China. Like that wouldn't get him anything.
Yeah.
So because Trump's been tough and because they can't be easy, you're right, there's nowhere to go there.
The only thing that they can do with China is say that starting a trade war with them is bad. That's their only line when it comes to China.
Right. And
Tariffs bad.
Yeah, and I don't like a trade war because I don't think anybody. It's kind of like when I was a practicing lawyer. I used to do like Dave. I used to do domestic cases too, not because I wanted to, but because friends and family and other people and referrals. So you do it as a favor. And, you hate every minute of it. No one wins except the lawyers who are getting paid. Right. So I view a trade war as the same thing. No one's really winning. The consumers are ultimately going to pay the price in a trade war. But I'm okay with, I don't even like calling it a war. It's a rebalancing. It's a trade rebalancing because we are so out of whack. We have been so taken advantage of for so long. And I blame both Republican and Democratic administrations. They've all punted on that. They've all talked tough. Trump is the first one who's talking tough and actually asking for things to change. Mm-hmm. And you see how his words have an effect in reality because on the NATO issue, all these countries who need NATO, I don't know if we need NATO or not. It's nice to have it. We like to support Europe, but there's countries that really need NATO. They don't want to support it. We're paying 70% of the bills for NATO, and Europe is getting 90% of the benefit. So Trump's like, how about you guys pay a little bit more, like maybe just a little bit more? And they are because they know he's serious about it, but he's going to push them a little further as well. Tim Jones in for Annie Frey today. It's the Annie Frey Show. You can follow me on Facebook or Twitter at Speaker Tim Jones or the Annie Frey Show at Annie Frey Show. We'll take a little break here at the top of the hour, and then next hour we'll continue on with all the news of the day, plus Representative Phil Cristofanelli will join us in studio. He's one of those young guns up there in Jefferson City doing a great job for the folks of St. Charles County. Representative Phil Cristofanelli will join us to talk about all things Missouri legislature. Tim Jones in for Annie Frey here at FM News Talk 97.1.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Law Office of Lance Drury here in St. Louis. I'm sure you've seen or heard ads where people owed the IRS thousands of dollars and their tax bills were miraculously reduced to nothing. I'm here to tell you, the same companies that run those ads are the ones that routinely force clients to call me when they don't resolve their IRS problems and stop returning calls. Look, the IRS doesn't make it easy to resolve a case. So don't waste precious time and money. Contact me, Lance Drury, today. I'm a local tax attorney and I've helped hundreds resolve their IRS problems quickly and cost efficiently. Schedule a free confidential appointment and let's take control of your situation and protect your legal rights. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an experienced tax attorney. You need me, Lance Drury. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There's a big red barn where you save green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
How is your sleep? Are you getting enough quality sleep to feel rested, alert, and healthy? If not, a sleep disorder may be to blame. I'm Dr. Joe Ogile with the Clayton Sleep Institute. More than 40 million Americans suffer from sleep disorders, including restless leg syndrome, insomnia, and sleep apnea. Sleep disorders may ruin your sleep and threaten your long-term health, vitality, and well-being. For help, call the sleep specialist at Clayton Sleep Institute, 314-645-5855.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Any daughter would do the same. But soon enough, he needed help doing more things, and it was up to me to be his personal shopper and financial manager, too. And before I knew it, Dad moved in with me. So I became his cook, his personal assistant, his physical therapist, and even his nurse. When I started taking care of Dad, I didn't realize all the roles I'd have to play. But no matter what, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the many roles you play. And to help, we created an online caregiving resource center. At aarp.org/caregiving, you can find resources and connect with the caregiving community. Together, we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to learn more. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk, 97.1.
A radio.com station.
Strzok Strikes Back. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The FBI agent who exchanged anti-Trump emails with his girlfriend defending his work ethic on Capitol Hill.
I separated out my personal beliefs from any action I took officially as an FBI agent every day.
Republicans are angry with Strzok, claiming he was biased against President Trump and that bias played into the ongoing special counsel's probe into Russian election meddling. North Korea's leader with high praise for the president. Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
1 month after their historic meeting in Singapore, the president tweeting a very nice note from Chairman Kim of North Korea. Great progress being made. The president published a letter from Kim in which the North Korean leader praises the president's efforts and writes, I firmly believe that the strong will, sincere efforts, and unique approach of myself and your excellency, Mr. President, aimed at opening up a new future between the DPRK and the U.S., will surely come to fruition. But the letter does not mention any commitments to abandon nuclear weapons. As part of their agreement, Kim pledged to abandon Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program. Rich?
John, President Trump is in Britain today for talks with Prime Minister Theresa May. Hundreds of protesters lined the streets near the U.S. ambassador to the UK's residence, where the president and First Lady will be staying. Before leaving Brussels, the president said NATO members agreed to substantially increase spending on defense.
Everyone's agreed to substantially up their commitment. They're going to up it at levels that they've never thought of before.
French President Emmanuel Macron refuting that claim, saying the NATO members only agreed to meet previously set spending commitments. An American service member and an Afghan soldier killed in a joint combat operation with Afghan forces today. Several other Afghan services members were injured. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
FM News Talk 97.1 News brought to you by RP Lumber. Best service, best value. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. Starting tomorrow, MoDOT will begin road work on a lengthy stretch of I-55 through Jefferson County. Drivers can expect lane closures as well as ramp closures that will reroute you to other exits to get off the interstate. The project will last 18 days and will begin just after rush hour traffic starts to wind down tomorrow morning. Governor Mike Parson was in Springfield this morning to sign a bill cutting the highest personal income tax rate from 5.9% to 5.5%. The tax cut will take effect on January 1st. Cole County Circuit Judge John Beadham dismissed the Missouri Democratic Party's lawsuit against Governor Parson and Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe yesterday. The judge's ruling said the plaintiffs lack authority to remove the lieutenant governor by litigation. A lawyer for the Missouri Democratic Party said they might appeal. This news update brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best in fences, decks, patios, and sunrooms.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma, get knowing.
My friends, join your friends in the spar against your go-to bar for the group altercation Sweeping Cardinal Nation. I'm talking the bout to take you out to a Cardinals game versus your usual night out. It's beeraculous. It's hashtagulous. It's a ball game at Busch. The free-for-all that's fun for all. There's only one Cardinals baseball. The Cards take on the Reds the weekend of July 13th. Get your tickets today at Cardinals.com.
The Cardinals host the Reds July 13th through the 15th, and there are great giveaways all weekend long. Friday night, it's the Cardinals Cowboy Hat, presented by Brown & Crouppen. And Saturday, it's the Adam Wainwright Bobblehead, courtesy of SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Sunday is all about the family, when kids take home a hooded Cardinals towel, presented by the Pasta House. And adults will receive a unique baseball tote. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
A lot of nasal congestion, especially at night, facial pain, pressure.
Cynthia suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She was fed up.
I was in my primary care physician's office and she was prescribing another course of antibiotics. And I think at that moment, I just thought, this is ridiculous. There has to be some other option.
She set an appointment with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called balloon sinuplasty.
I was home within a few hours and back to work the next morning. I could breathe so much easier, especially with activity and at night, being able to sleep a lot better. My energy level was increased, being a mom and being able to be more active with my little one. At least to me, that was the most important thing.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center. Call 314-449-8761. 449-8761. That's 449-8761.
Never paint again. Seriously. Who wants to paint anyways? Rhino Shield would love to paint your home, business, or church for the last time. You know, when it's not raining. Water and sun are the two most damaging villains against your home's defense for chipping, cracking, peeling, and rot. Our permanent ceramic coating locks out 100% of the moisture, 90% of the sun's UV rays, and we back it up with a 25-year transferable warranty. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. See why we are rapidly becoming your neighbor's go-to solution for cracks, splits, nail pops, and just bad color schemes. Now's the time to be smart to save time and money. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, Tim Jones in for Annie Frey. Happy, what is it, Thursday? Wow, Thursday already, July the 12th. Welcome to FM News Talk 97.1. I'm in the big chair today for the vacationing Annie Frey. Crane Durham will be back tomorrow. Then I'll join you, and I think he's back next week as well, and I'll be here on Wednesday before I'm the vacationing Tim Jones. It's July, right? It's the last month before the month back to school. I can't believe we're saying that. I feel like it just started. Summer, usually a quieter time, not in the political world, not with President Donald J. Trump at the helm. There's always plenty going on.
Never a quiet time.
Got Frank and Tony Colombo in studio with me today, as always. You can follow the Annie Frey Show at Annie Frey Show on Twitter. And if you follow the Annie Frey Show, you'll see Annie putting up things like Buzz Lightyear because she's in Walt Disney World right now.
Day 2, Disney Day 2.
Disney Day 2. We'll be excited about her stories when she comes back.
Yes.
I'm at Speaker Tim Jones, at Speaker Tim Jones on Facebook or Twitter. And I'm the host. I didn't mention this in the whole first hour. I'm the host of the Tim Jones Show. I almost forget about those things. Every Sunday night from 7 to 9 p.m.
Yes.
And I think Ken Williams, who's my producer, I think we've already got, we're working on a national guest, and we're going to have Dan Amsden in studio. He's a great guy, if you've never heard of him, Tony. He's a guy who's retired, and he's one of these really smart people who likes budgets. That would drive me crazy, but he has a not-for-profit group basically set up. He does it for free. Like I said, he's retired, and he's been helping a lot of our free market, common sense, conservative representatives dig deeper into Missouri's budget and find all the junk. And we're going to have a state representative join us in the next segment, Representative Phil Cristofanelli.
Mm-hmm.
I know Phil knows Dan, and I know Phil is one of those brave young souls who is not afraid of bureaucrats and lobbyists and has been looking into that. Tony, we could have just aired what we talked about in the break as this segment. We talked about term limits.
Yeah.
And you were asking me, what do I think about them? And you were saying how
my
your philosophy is.
Yeah, my opinion is I understand when somebody says there should be term limits. I get that. I get it when somebody says the reason that there should be term limits is that some lawmakers on the local level and especially on the national level will stay in a seat for decades, literally 30, 40 years sometimes, and that's too much. I generally agree that that's too much, too. I also think, though, that if you're the best person for the job, you're the best person.
You should
for
just
the job.
stay there forever.
But my thing is term limits are elections. If you think that somebody's been in a spot too long and they've grown fat and happy and they're not doing their job anymore, that's what elections are for. And that's
vote them out.
That's when you should vote them out. So, yeah, I was asking you your thoughts because you can't talk about Missouri. Really, it seems like you cannot talk about Missouri politics, or I can't read a story about Missouri, a person in the House or in the Senate, without mentioning, they're limited out this year, or they're facing term elimination. Or they have to move from the House to the Senate because they're term limited out in the House. It seems like that is always part of the discussion. When it comes to Missouri politics, and I feel like it can be distracting.
Yeah, and for people who love term limits, then my pushback, and I can argue with you all day, because I can say, okay, so what's the magic number? And why would you say that?
Right.
Because I would say, and then my other argument is, well, you understand that because we're in a free market economy, that lobbyists don't have a term limit.
Right.
Because of employment rules, bureaucrats don't have term limits. So how come, and if you don't think that bureaucrats and lobbyists don't help run government, then I got a bridge in Brooklyn that I'll sell you when I go up there in 2 weeks.
Right. And you and to your point, if a bureaucrat or a lobbyist has been there for 30 years and they know that they're not getting along with somebody in the House or Senate that's been there for 5-6 years, they can wait them out. They know that somebody new is going to be coming in that probably doesn't have the experience or the knowledge of, how to properly deal with those people, and they wait for their opportunity to take advantage of certain rookie freshman lawmakers. And then in that situation, the bureaucrats and lobbyists that already have tremendous influence have even more influence because they have been there forever and they have the experience advantage over these other folks.
Absolutely.
Am I right or wrong about
No, you're
that?
right. You're right. Because, okay, so let's talk about that artificial number. Back in 1992, the reason Missouri adopted term limits was not because there was an independent call for them here. It was a national. I barely remember this. I was I was in New York. I was in college. And so I wasn't really paying attention to political cycles as much as I do now. There was a national movement for a congressional term limit in the U.S. Congress and Senate. Mm-hmm. What happened was this got put on the ballot in all 50 states. And so it was really a call for congressional term limits, like people say all the time that we need, which has never happened. As part of that, there was a hook. There was a hooker. A hooker. Not a real, no, okay. There was, I'm trying to say, what am I trying to say? There was a hook. Every state also had a state term limit.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Guess what? Missouri was one of the 22 states that said yes to congressional term limits. Guess what? 23 states. Wait, how many states am I missing? I'm like Obama. I can't
didn't
count
hear
to
the first
50.
Number. I didn't hear
22, 28.
There you go.
28 states said no. So guess what? Congressional term limits did not take effect, but because a majority of Missourians voted for term limits, we ended up with term limits in our state. And so
it wasn't even a local cry for. I didn't realize that.
No. I mean, people were mainly, so that's what happened. And so on top of having an artificial term limit put in of 16 years, we also have another artificial thing inside of that 16 years. You can only serve up to 8 years in the Missouri House. You can only serve up to 8 years in the Missouri Senate. When you're going up against bureaucrats and lobbyists that have been working in Jeff City for 20, 30, 40 years plus, and you're done after 8 years, you're a neophyte still.
Yeah.
And you're never going to have a leadership person, speaker, Senate president, majority leader, budget chairman running the $28 billion state budget, who probably has more than 4 years of experience at that post.
Because they don't get to that level till they've been in Congress for a certain amount of time. And so it takes a while to build yourself up to that level. And by the time you've done that, you're already on the downhill slide of how much time you even have left.
So why is that such a great idea to take the greatest person in your caucus at the time and say, here's the next budget chairman, chairwoman. Here's the best lady for the job. Mm-hmm. But we're only going to let her have that job for 4 years. And then, you know what? The clock just struck 12.
She's only got 3 years left.
She's got to go.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Who runs anything like that? So I don't know.
You said off the air, at least make it, if you want to have a 16-year term, at least take out the imaginary line that says you can only do 8 in the House and 8 in the Senate. If somebody wants to,
I'm fine with that.
Never advance. If they don't have any desire, they want to continue to be in government, but they don't have any desire to leave the spot they're in. But now it's been 8 years, so they have to now run for Senate or for a different office because they can't just run for the office that they're very happy with and want to stay in. Just let them stay. Let them keep running and let that go for 16 years and then be out instead of the 8 and 8. I agree with you completely.
Here's an interesting wrinkle, too. And this is a totally different issue because it's the executive level. And we've always had a term limit on the governor of the state of Missouri. The governor of the state of Missouri can serve up to 8 years. Interesting wrinkle, though, for Mike Parson, who just became governor, who I interviewed here in this studio last week on the Mark Cox Show. Because he's coming in halfway through this term, he can only serve out the rest of this term, which will be 2.5 years, and then he can only run for one more 4-year term because it's in our Constitution that the governor of the state can only serve up to 8 years, period. So isn't that an interesting
So it's
wrinkle?
not 2 elections. It's
No.
8 years.
Yes.
That is interesting.
Yes. So Governor Parson.
Can he run? I know he wouldn't do this, but in the Missouri law, can he run that second time but have to leave office after 2 years?
No.
Because he
would not be
You can't even run
certified.
for an election that you don't have the you don't
No.
have the eligibility basically.
The Secretary of State would
kinda
say.
like college eligibility.
Exactly.
You don't have any eligibility.
You don't have
left.
any eligibility left. You're a 5th year, what do they call it?
Fifth year senior.
Red shirt
senior.
After you do your red shirt, you're done.
Yeah.
Take your red shirt away. So Governor Parson, newly minted Governor Parson, who we'll ask Representative Phil Cristofanelli, who's going to come right here in studio after this break. We will ask him about, about what he thinks. I'll ask him to prognosticate a little bit on that. Governor Parson has a decision to make this November. Because 2020 starts the day after November 2018.
Yeah, as soon as the midterms are over.
And Tony, they're already talking about it on the federal level.
Oh yeah.
They've been talking about Kamala Harris and Pocahontas and the rest of them as who's going to take on Trump.
I saw a number the other day that I think it was 36. 36 Democrats that are exploring a run at the presidency.
Don't you love that Hillary Clinton's thinking about it again?
It was in the number was in the 30s.
And maybe Hillary.
I'm sure she was one of them. Bernie.
Yeah. Bernie. Ocasio-Cortez, the Democratic socialist who was just elected. I found out this morning when I was on with Mark Cox. She's coming to St. Louis to support Lacey Clay's primary challenger in the Democratic primary.
Wow.
Because Lacey Clay is not
isn't
liberal
left
enough.
Yeah.
Nobody
is.
Here is a black liberal from the city of St. Louis, Lacey Clay, who's not left enough for the new breed of Democratic socialists who want to take over the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi.
Dave Glover read a story on his show a few days ago about somebody who was going after Bernie Sanders for not being liberal enough.
Yes. Nancy Pelosi, behind closed doors, has got to be freaking out.
This is Armageddon.
I mean, it's... right? I mean, her and
Chuck... You know what? I hear her voice, and maybe my whole thought process about term limits changes.
Now you just change your entire mind.
That voice alone made me go, you know what? Maybe there should be term limits.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there should be. Her and Maxine Waters.
Yes. Oh. Impeach 45.
Her and Maxine Waters. Oh, yeah, okay.
Impeach 45!
Yeah, I got all the hits. I got all the hits. And because, see, here's the problem. There was a moment in time after the Trump election when some, what I would call common sense Democrats, there's a number of them out there, like the fella from Ohio, Tim Ryan, Congressman Tim Ryan, blue collar, working man, suburbs of one of the Ohio, I think he's Cleveland or Cincinnati. Remember, he challenged Nancy Pelosi for the speakership.
Yeah.
Because he was like, we lost this election because we lost voters like me and my family and my friends and my neighbors. It wasn't because we need more illegal immigration or we need to import more voters because we can't. We lost because Hillary Clinton did not campaign in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio. She took it for granted. Yep. And therefore Trump cracked the blue wall. And Tony, because we saw it last week, they're pulling their hair out and freaking out and calling a very, let me just say it, pretty milquetoast guy, Judge Brett Kavanaugh. I mean, he's pretty much down the middle kind of a, some may say he's too establishment. I think he's only... He's
not a flamethrower. He's not a bomb thrower at all.
He's an extremist now.
To your point, yeah.
And you know what that's all about? That's all about the fact that the Democrats lost the 2016 election. Every single freak out they have, you can go back to November 2016 and it explains it all. They still haven't gotten over it. Well, one guy who was successful in November of 2016 will join us next, Representative Phil Cristofanelli from the great county of St. Charles. He's one of the new young guns up there in the Missouri legislature. We'll talk to Phil about all things Missouri legislature and Missouri government, and we're going to put him on the hot seat, ask him some political questions as well, and he can't get out because we have a pressurized door. So, all that and more on the Annie Frey Show. Tim Jones in the big chair for Annie Frey will be back right after this here at FM News Talk 97.1.
I'm wishing for you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not?
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Take us with you and never miss the news and opinion from 97.1. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Become the next millionaire with Missouri Lottery's Mega Millions. Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is an estimated $340 million. The Missouri Lottery reminds you to visit your favorite retailer because you can't win the estimated $340 million Mega Millions jackpot if you don't play. And please, play responsibly.
Sometimes it's just time to buy a pretty thing. And if you are looking for some of those pretty things, go to the Diamond Shop in Clayton. They're located on Central Avenue in Clayton. Free customer parking right there in the back. You can knock on the back door to get in, just like home. And if you go there and you make a purchase, mention the Annie Frey Show. They'll give you a free pair of pearl earrings with your purchase. If the pretty thing that you're looking for is something to put on, say, a lady's finger, you can find the perfect engagement ring at the Diamond Shop. They're going to take the time to explain and teach you what you need to know when selecting a diamond. Andrew here at the station went there to purchase his ring, and let's just be honest, he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know what to ask, the questions to ask, and they made him feel comfortable in his budget and with his final purchase. He knew that he got a great quality piece that she was going to love at a price that he could afford. They're going to respect all levels of income, budgetary, whatever. When you walk in the door, they've got stuff that's affordable at the low end and stuff that you can just spend as much money on as you want on the high end. Visit them online at thediamondshop.net.
Need a CPAP? Then we need you. We're CPAP.com, and we carry popular brands of CPAP equipment, including ResMed, Respironics, and more. To move inventory, we're selling some of our ResMed CPAP machines at prices lower than you would think. Learn more about these affordable ResMed CPAPs at CPAP.com. We'll even provide free shipping on your ResMed machine order, so you'll get it fast when you enter the promo code BED. The best part? No insurance needed. Our CPAPs are priced so low, they can even cost less than your copay and deductible through insurance. CPAP.com has shipped over 1 million orders and carries a large inventory of sleep apnea equipment. With little retail overhead and no middlemen, we're the best way to get affordable, comfortable sleep apnea equipment at incredibly low prices. Again, CPAP.com has a large inventory of ResMed CPAPs and is offering free shipping on these devices. For these great deals and others, visit CPAP.com. Don't forget to enter the promo code BED. That's BED.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Marvin Mitchell probably has the answer. Join him every Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1 for Rethinking Retirement. With his years of experience, Marvin can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Rethinking Retirement is your source for all things retirement, from how current events could affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Rethinking Retirement with Marvin Mitchell every Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1.
Spectrum Business is transforming how your business does business because we're increasing our starting internet speeds up to 200 megabits per second without increasing our price. Now your business can get new, faster 200 meg Spectrum Business internet, still just $44.99 a month. That's more starting speed than you'll get from other providers. And when you think about just how many devices are connected to your network, computers, printers, cell phones, and everything else using your Wi-Fi, it's just what your business needs. Finally, you can get rid of your slow internet service and start focusing on getting things done. Switch to Spectrum Business today with speed other providers can't beat at a price they can't match. Get Spectrum Business Internet now with speeds up to 200 megabits per second, still only $44.99 a month when bundled with Spectrum Business Voice for $29.99 a month. Call 877-778-0860 or visit business.spectrum.com/200 today. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hey folks, Mark Cox here. Excited to give away tickets this week to Ted Nugent. He's coming July 22nd to River City Casino. All you have to do is listen. We'll give away tickets every day this week. Get more info on our website at 971talk.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast on demand and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Just know that I'm always very loud on the other side. 'Cause with your hand in my hand and a pocket full of soul, I can tell you.
Yeah, we're just watching Peter Strzok's continued grilling up on Capitol Hill. He said apparently a few minutes ago, he never thought his texts would become public. It sounds like he's a very good FBI agent to me. I mean, really? In this day and age? I mean, he should know that, right? I don't know.
If anybody, he should know what the federal government is capable of viewing and not viewing, and
yes, especially
exposing and not exposing.
Especially when you're an agent of the federal government,
right?
You know, it's really insane. So, joining us now, as promised in studio, is Representative Phil Cristofanelli. Phil, welcome to the Annie Frey Show.
Happy to be on.
I think I've interviewed you on maybe my show before.
On the Tim Jones
show.
On the Tim Jones
show.
That's always a blast.
Right? Cristofanelli, that's a good German name, right?
Yeah. Southern Italian Sicilian.
Yeah, very good, very good. So, Phil...
me too. Columbo's also.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm Northern Italian. We might have to have a blood feud or something.
We have better food.
Yeah. Not because my name's Jonesio, but my mother was Tuno. My mother was Tuno. Yeah.
Great name.
Northern Italian. Not very far north, above Rome, right above Rome. So
Sure.
Yeah. So, Phil, introduce yourselves to the Annie Frey audience. Tony was like, Phil's a state rep. He looks like he just got out of high school. You know?
Yeah, they didn't want to let me in the floor the first day. They thought I was an intern.
Thought you were an intern.
But,
That's
no.
funny.
I am the youngest member of the legislature for now. I think after this next election, I might be unplaced in that way. But I was elected for the first time in 2016. Before that, I was congressional staff. I represent central eastern St. Charles County, so I have a lot of the city of St. Peter's and the Heritage Harvester neighborhoods in unincorporated St. Charles County.
So even though young, you possibly had more experience than most of the people in that building because you actually served up on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it was
DC.
a different experience for sure. And I had some legislative training going in, which gave me a perspective that was able to enhance my ability to be effective in the Capitol. And I was pretty happy with what I got done in my first 2 years. I'm looking forward to going back.
And you were in the communications department, right?
Yeah, I was a press secretary for a member. So I did a lot of press releases, a lot of media prep, and just making sure that my boss was one step ahead of guys like you when he walked into rooms like these.
That's right. And you're always quick to say yes to any. You know how important it is to have people hear about you as many times as possible, right?
Yeah, we did a full court press with TV, radio, local newspapers, anything that we could get my boss in front of folks in a way to engage the public. We would take advantage of that.
Well, Phil, let's dive right in here. Governor Parson has been on the job for, I guess, a little bit over a month. I came up and saw the joint address to the General Assembly, and he didn't get a break. His first thing he had to do was go through all those dozens and dozens of bills that you all passed. And well, let me back up even further. This was, and I'll say this as someone who was not there, I'm a little envious. I felt like I had a good run of 8 years, and we did a lot when I was in leadership and speaker. But I will give you all credit. This was a very productive session, maybe the most productive in several decades.
Yeah, it's incredible. And despite all the things that were going on this year, we got 150 bills done. And that might not sound like a lot, but to put it in perspective, in the last legislative year, we got 75 bills done, and 25 of those were the budget, which are constitutionally mandated. So that's almost 2.5 times as many legislative bills that we put out this year that were some serious reforms that the state most desperately needed.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. These weren't just, you're not a guy, I know you're, I was telling Tony earlier, you're a little bit more on Tony's side of the political spectrum, a little bit more libertarian, a little bit more lesser government, right?
That's right.
And so the number of bills is not as important to you as the quality of the bills. And I think these bills were heavy lifts, but they were important lifts.
There was a lot that was done this year. In fact, signed today, as we're speaking, was the tax cut bill. And I know you accomplished a tax cut when you were speaker, but we've got another tax cut now that'll bring Missouri's income tax down from 5.9% to 5.5%, which will be a huge a lift for working families in this district or in this state. And we also got done substantive tort reform, substantive labor reform, things that this state has needed for many, many decades, and we got it done in 1 year.
On that tax cut bill, why was it important for, people will say, well, wait a minute, President Trump and congressional Republicans, they already passed a tax cut. Why was it important for State House Republicans to pass a tax reform package as well?
Well, there's a couple reasons, Tim. One of the first and most important reasons, and I know you're aware of this because you've worked with a number of groups that have focused on this issue, and that's because money is mobile, and businesses, when they're looking to locate in various places across the country, are very flexible as to where they can locate that infrastructure. And if our tax rate is not competitive with the tax rates that surround the state of Missouri, that money is going to walk out of our state and into a state like Tennessee or a state like Texas or Florida that doesn't have an income tax at all. And so the more that we can do to make our state competitive for a place to locate jobs, the better that we're going to be able to grow our economy and provide substantive work for families in Missouri. Further, a tax cut is going to mean money in the pockets of folks back at home to spend and to take care of their needs that they otherwise would be sending to the gaping maw, which is state government.
Exactly.
So I think that any time that we can move more money into the private sector to allow people how to spend it themselves as opposed to sending it to the bureaucrats in Jefferson City, I think that's a win.
Yep. As my first rule CEO would say, that's how money walks.
That's right.
And Phil, the lefties, they always like to argue with me about states that don't have income tax cuts or that don't have income taxes, like Florida or Texas or some of those. They say, oh, well, those are coastal states, and everybody goes there because of the weather and the palm trees. I throw Tennessee at them.
That's right.
And they don't know what to say. Tennessee has never had a state income tax, and I think you've studied Tennessee as well. You're on the budget, aren't you?
I am on the budget.
Yeah,
committee.
so you're a budget guy. So I bet you look at other states and how they do their budgets. Tennessee is not, the people aren't dying in the streets.
No.
And in fact, I think they're crushing us currently on growth.
They are. They're crushing us on infrastructure, which everybody says will suffer if we don't have an income tax. And they're crushing us on economic growth. And that's because the way to improve standard of living is not to have the government redistribute wealth. It's to grow the economy so that people can have employment and people can make money for their families. That's how you improve people's standard of living. And that's done through enhancing the private sector and creating an environment in which business growth can occur.
So I was asking about Governor Parson earlier, and he has until, I think, 2 more days to sign or veto bills. So far, it looks like he's been a very willing partner with the legislature. How has that dynamic been, switching from the Governor Greitens administration, whatever side you were on, there was a lot of drama and a lot of focus on everything but substantive policy. It looks like Governor Parson, he's trying to calm the waters and get the Republican Party back on the same page, which I think is good for Missourians.
Absolutely. There's definitely a change in tone from the governor's office. Governor Parson and Governor Greitens are very different people, very different backgrounds. Our current governor has served in Missouri state government for decades. Earlier, he was a sheriff, and he's a very level-headed, reasonable guy, and he looks at each policy and tries to decide what's in the best interest of the state. He's less ideologically driven than perhaps Eric was, and I liked our former governor. There was a lot that he did that I agree with, but this is a different tone and a different style that some Missourians may find more appealing.
And like I was saying, as long as you have some very aggressive reformers in the Missouri House and Senate,
sure.
And so I would think that as long as he keeps reaching out those olive branches and lets the legislature legislate, and he governs on the executive branch, I see the next 2 years could be very positive.
Sure. And I sat down with the governor. He went out of his way to meet with a handful of the strong conservative reformers really early on. There were about
that's
5
good
of
to
us, in his office. In his first week of taking office, he took an hour out of time because, some of us were concerned that our conservative agenda could be put aside. And there was nothing that we brought up that he said, that's off the table. He said, you guys fight it out in the legislature. If you send me a bill, and it works, I'll take a look at it, and if it's reasonable, I'll get it signed. So there was nothing that he ruled out, and I think that's a comforting thing to hear from the new governor.
Yeah, I'm going to let Tony jump in here. He's got a question for you.
Both of you, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. Of course, there was lots of, and we just actually got a ruling yesterday by Judge Beadham that the Missouri Democrats bid to block the governor's ability to appoint a lieutenant governor in Mike Kehoe. That has failed. The judge has ruled that the Democrats' attempt to block that via litigation has failed. Your thoughts on that appointment and the governor's ability to appoint? Because for once, I sort of found myself agreeing with that argument that I would have liked to have seen an election and instead of an appointment. What do you think of the appointment process, and do you think that now this is the way it needs to, that this has been established as precedent, or is this something we need to address in the future so we have something in writing on how this should be done?
So the Constitution of our state is silent on how we fill that role after the lieutenant governor becomes governor. And that was somewhat of a flaw that the framers of our Constitution, they never really anticipated that circumstance. And so I think that ultimately that there should be a legislative remedy that sets in stone how that should proceed. But in the absence of a clear and precise way that we were supposed to proceed, I think the governor took the right action in making sure that office was filled. Because there's a reason that we have a governor and a lieutenant governor, because as God forbid anything were to ever happen to our governor, the idea that we would be pulling either out of the president of the Senate or the Speaker of the House to suddenly become governor, it would be truly chaotic for our state. So I think every day that passed without a lieutenant governor would have been a problem. And so I'm glad that he took the decisive action to proceed. Now, let me also say this. This lawsuit that was filed against the governor for making that decision is truly a testament to how much the Democratic Party has failed politically in this state. They cannot, for their lives, win an election, and so they traffic fully in trying to find scandal politics and legalistic means of being politically effective. And it's, I think, not helpful. It's not a productive way to govern, and I'm glad that the judge had the common sense to just throw it out.
Well, Phil, that makes me think of another thing, and you know what? I'll hold you on to the next segment if you can hang, because I want to ask you about some political questions.
Great.
One of them being clean Missouri.
Yeah,
basically because of what you just said, the Democrats cannot win elections anymore in the state, so they just basically now they want to change the rules.
That's right,
and that's all clean Missouri is. Also, want to ask you about this hot and heavy Missouri U.S. Senate seat race, which is really moving on. You're up for election this year as well.
That's right.
And you guys always have entertaining Democratic opponents out in St. Charles. So I think there's a pro wrestler running against Nick Schroer,
they're
right?
Most certainly amateur pro wrestler.
Amateur. I bet you said your guy's a little more boring, right?
He's a little more traditional, yeah, I guess.
That's no fun.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, Tim Jones here on the Annie Frey Show with Tony Colombo and Frank. We got Representative Phil Cristofanelli in studio. We'll continue with him, ask him some political questions. And if you've got any questions you want me to ask the representative, 314-241-9797, 866-455-9797. It's the Annie Frey Show. Tim Jones in the big chair here at FM News Talk 97.1.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Lots of sunshine in control once again on this Thursday across the St. Louis area. It will be a hot afternoon. 92 for the high tonight. Clear skies, more humid, 70 degrees Friday and the weekend. Maybe a spot thunderstorm Friday. Little better chance of a couple of scattered thunderstorms Saturday and again on Sunday. 95 each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. A portion of every HVAC installation goes to Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up today at gslhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com. Investing for retirement is important, but it can also be intimidating. And there are so many options out there for how you can put your hard-earned money best to work for you. That's why I want to talk to you about my friends at Convergent Wealth Management. This group is client-focused. They're fiduciaries, which is so important. They chose to be held to a higher standard. They put their clients' needs first. That means they care about you and what is best in your circumstances over just pulling something off the shelf and handing it to you because that's what's best for them. They're going to suggest the best options for you as an investor. As a registered investment advisory firm, they are fully licensed and they offer financial strategies that are tailored to you. There isn't a cookie-cutter approach. They're going to learn you. They're going to learn your situation, your wants, and your desires, and they are going to tailor something to whatever it is that you are looking to get to. Be educated, be empowered, be in control of your investments. Let active management work for you. Visit them online at convergentwm.com. That's convergentwm.com. Convergent Wealth Management. Wealth for the way.
Want to try Black Rifle coffee but don't want to order online? Tactical in St. Peter's has every flavor in whole bean, ground, and K-Cups. This is Sig Glockencolt. Black Rifle coffee is to coffee what Tactical is to Black Rifles. Just off Highway 70 in St. Peter's. Black Rifle coffee. The only place to get Black Rifle coffee in St. Louis is from Tactical in St. Peter's. This is Sig Glockencolt. Get your Black Rifle coffee, beans, ground, or K-Cups at Tactical. While you're here, build yourself a Black Rifle or customize yours.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 314-725-0000. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Chesterfield, St. Charles, Arnold, Edwardsville, and Belleville.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. Cordell & Cordell, 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017.
Club Store Outlet is located off of Manchester Road, right behind Pet Supplies Plus, just a few minutes east of Lindbergh. We have a little bit of everything for sale, from some of your groceries, most of your home stuff, apparel, and even furniture. We don't do flashy sales, doorbusters, or limited time offers, since everything we have is cheaper here than where it came from. Period. So buying the same thing from just anywhere else is just silly. Club Store Outlet. Come shop with us or don't. We don't beg because it's a good idea.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic and host of Maximize Living, Sundays at 8 a.m. at Health From Within. We focus on 5 essential areas to strengthen your nerve system and maximize your health. Your body alone, without medications, has tremendous power to heal itself. At Health From Within, we unlock those natural healing powers you possess. To learn more about our unique approach, go to healthfromwithinstl.com. That's healthfromwithinstl.com, and join us Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. on FM News Talk 97.1.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Friday, we'll talk about merit-based immigration with the Center for Immigration Studies, plus J.J. Carafano and Kayleigh McEnany.
On FM News Talk 97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Everybody get up.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, we're rolling on through the afternoon here with Representative Phil Cristofanelli from the great county of St. Charles. Phil, you're an active Twitterer. What's your handle?
I am at PHL Christo.
Christo. You don't want to do the whole thing. They kind of wear you out, right?
I cut it off short. Nobody would spell that right.
That's right. They would not. Yeah, you're very active on Twitter. I think that's great. You grew up in this whole computerized, fully connected world.
That's right.
You really don't know anything differently.
No, it's natural for me, and it gives our caucus a voice on a platform that we didn't have before. And now that you got younger guys like me and Schroer and a handful of others, we actively engage on Twitter and social media to deliver our message not only to a new generation of voters, but to all the other traditional media listeners that also use those platforms.
Yeah, it's amazing what changes in just 4 years. I've been out only 4 years, but I've been out for 4 years, 4 full sessions. And when I left 4 years ago, it was a thing that everybody was kind of playing with. Twitter was, and Facebook had been around a while. But do you all sit around and actually is there like a caucus strategy to okay, here's our social media plan? There's a social media plan now, I would guess, right?
There is to some degree. Yeah. We make sure that we all have things to contribute and different ways to access different media portions. The rural guys tend to focus on local papers, and us in the suburban areas focus on radio shows like yours, local TV, and social media as well. And, I was on the messaging team my first year in the legislature, and so we'd get together every week. We'd look at the bills we passed, and then we'd put together talking points so that people could go home and let folks know what we've been working on.
My understanding is direct mail is still huge, and you have to do it, and you need to do it, and you should do it. But I would imagine that social media is also working its way into campaigns as well.
What's really incredible about social media is geo-targeting has gotten so specific that I can pretty much draw out my district on Facebook and do sponsored ads to folks that are
just
only
to
in
those
that
people.
Area. Yeah, which is really neat.
That's fascinating. Well, speaking of politics, we're in silly season now. Less than 4 weeks until the primary, and I guess we've got, let's see, July to August, less than 4 months to the general, believe it or not. And you're running for re-election. One of the biggest races, not only in the state of Missouri, but in the country, is Claire McCaskill is back again, the incumbent, and she's going to run against somebody on the Republican side, whether it's Attorney General Josh Hawley, Austin Peterson, Cortland Sykes, Tony Minetti, Peter Pfeiffer. There's 11 people
it's nuts.
Who were filed, which I guess it shows the excitement and the deep bench we have, right?
There's a lot of people that think Claire needs to go. When I talk to my constituents back home, I try to hit doors every day, and that's one of the number one issues I hear about is that they want a new representative in the United States Senate that actually reflects their values. And
isn't the biggest problem with Claire is, I think you and I who know her inside and out, she is a liberal Democrat, but she doesn't play one on TV all the time, does she? Right. She's Chameleon Claire, and I think that you and I actually get along, I think, better with the people who are honest liberal Democrats, like my former colleague, Mike Colonna.
Mike
Colonna, another good Italian. Mike Colonna, people like that, because they don't try to hide it. They are what they are. They just try to convince you of their point.
That's right.
Claire her points are whatever they need to be, right?
Yeah, she comes home and she tries to pretend like she's an old-fashioned conservative Democrat, but she goes back to Washington and votes with Chuck Schumer almost 90-100% of the time. And so when we had things like tax cuts for working families that came up in Washington, D.C., Claire McCaskill voted no. When we had Supreme Court justices that that stood with our people on values and life, she voted no on them as well. And so she is representing herself back home in a way that she doesn't vote in D.C., which is the number one reason you should be thrown out of Congress.
And Exhibit A is the fact that she had no problem voting against Neil Gorsuch when it was right in the middle of her term. And suddenly now she's having this epiphany that she needs to study Judge Kavanaugh's record. And her party has laid down the gauntlet against him.
That's right.
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, the rest of the gang up there have all said no. Claire McCaskill, who votes with them, as you mentioned, 99% of the time.
That's right.
Why suddenly is she not sure, other than the fact it's an election year?
That's convenient, isn't it? And the Democrats are also starting to live in fear of their base now. Their base has become so far extreme left that I would be shocked if Claire McCaskill actually voted for this Supreme Court justice, even though it's a perfect opportunity to show that she stands with Missouri values. They're so afraid of primaries from their left that they will take no action that would suggest that they're anywhere near moderate.
Have you thrown in with anybody on our side of the aisle, on the Republican side of the aisle, for the U.S. Senate race?
Well, these races cost a lot of money, and you have to raise millions and millions of dollars in order to become a United States Senator. It just is the way it is. There's 6 million voters. You got to get their message to them. And the only candidate that I've seen that stands with all of Missouri's values and has shown the fundraising potential to take on a United States Senator that's been there for many years has been Josh Hawley. And so it looks like he's far ahead in the polls, is going to come out of the primary on top. I really like some of the other guys in that primary. I'm not going to lie to you. I've known Austin Peterson for a while. He's a really cool guy. I don't think this is the end of his future in Missouri politics, but I think Josh Hawley's going to be our nominee. I support that, and I hope he gets to the United States Senate.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, you brought up that point. You like some of the other candidates too, but you kind of have to agree with Phil there, right?
If you are in Josh Hawley's, if you're part of his campaign, yeah. I mean, you need to be focused on Claire right now because what numbers we have and what information we have shows that his lead is monstrous in the primary. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see some debating or, at least a conversation between these candidates, but I completely understand why the Attorney General, it doesn't behoove him to do that. What do you think of the news that we got last week of the RNC sort of breaking tradition and approving the funding for his campaign before the primary, which is something they don't normally do?
Yeah, right, and that's tough.
While we do still have this active
primary. And I joined the Missouri State Committee when I was about 20 years old. I was put on the executive committee shortly thereafter, and so I was faced with similar decisions.
Name dropper.
Yeah, I was faced with similar decisions when I served on that committee, and it's really tough because you want to have a fair and open primary process, and I do believe we have that. But there is money that can come down from Washington, D.C. to support our candidates, but it's also often tied to a matching program. And if we're not willing to match those funds, they'd be left off the table. And you know full well that the Democratic Party is doing everything they can to lift up Claire McCaskill in the state of Missouri. They see what a battleground this is. And we simply can't afford as a state to not meet them on the ground in the battlefield that they have set. And so I understand why the Missouri Republican Party made the decision they made. It's never an easy one, and it's never going to make everybody happy. But that was the choice they faced, and I think they made the right decision.
Yeah, and Phil, we got a couple minutes left, but talking about gimmicks, that's what the Clean Missouri plan is, in my opinion, and that's a way to get more Claire McCaskill voters to the polls in November. Clean Missouri is the Clean Missouri of conservative plan, right? Funded by George Soros. That's all it's trying to clean out, right?
It's incredibly deceptive, Tim. It's probably the most deceptive thing that I've seen in politics to date. What it does is it starts off with a lot of things that people agree with, a lot of things that I've voted for, which is a lobbyist gift ban, a cooling off period, increased transparency laws for state government, all things that a lot of folks agree about. But its truly sinister purpose is to take our redistricting plan, which currently happens in a bipartisan way and ultimately usually goes to the appellate courts.
That the state legislature has nothing to do with.
Right. The state legislature can't even touch. It's usually done by the state appellate judges, which you could hardly say are a conservative bastion in the state. and it takes it out of their hands and puts it in a singular partisan position, the state auditor, which happens to be just conveniently the one position that Democrats hold in Missouri state government.
Yeah, right then and there, you would think, okay, if they were going to do anything, they should make it under the Secretary of State and be maybe try to be a little clever about it.
Right.
But the fact they chose a random office like state auditor for an electoral purpose,
it makes no sense.
It makes no sense, and that should cause everybody great chagrin.
Right, and what it does is it says it essentially mandates gerrymandering. It's going to take away our compact regional-based districts that we have right now, and it's going to try to draw all these districts so that even though St. Charles is 65% Republican, it's going to try to draw a district in St. Charles that works out to be 50-50. And so you're going to have to draw in a bunch of people from St. Louis. It makes no sense.
We will have Illinois gerrymandering, won't we?
That's exactly what they want to achieve.
Exactly
Chicago machine politics.
Well, Phil, it was great. We covered a ton of topics with you. Good luck to you in the election season. And at Phil Christo, right?
PHL Christo
on Twitter. You can follow Phil. He does great stuff. And we'll be back with more of the Annie Frey Show. We're talking to the Illinois Policy Institute when we come back about the next thing that Illinois is looking to ban. Tim Jones in for Annie Frey. It's the Annie Frey Show. We'll be back with lots more after these words.
And that's why I'm gonna take a good girl.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Mark Cox here, inviting you to join me, Mark Close, and Thomas Helbig for the Protecting Your Retirement educational event Tuesday, August 7th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 now to reserve your seat. It's a seating limited event, so you need to hurry. Here's Thomas with more.
Do you know the number one mistake most retirees and pre-retirees are making with their retirement accounts? Do you know how to properly and effectively transition away from significant market exposure over to more suitable instruments? Do you know about the hidden fees inside of your mutual funds and 401k accounts? Do you also know the best strategy to shift from accumulation to income and preservation of assets? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss the special event. See you Tuesday, August 7th at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join me, Mark Close, and Thomas Helbig at the Frontenac Hilton Tuesday, August 7th at 6:30. Call 855-755-1555 or visit yourretirementkey.com. That's 855-755-1555 or online at yourretirementkey.com.
What interest rate would you rather pay on your credit card debt? 17% or less than 6% APR? The answer is obvious, Lightstream. Because with Lightstream, you may be able to consolidate credit card debt and dramatically cut your interest rate to as low as 5.89% APR with AutoPay. Plus, radio listeners get an additional rate discount. Just go to lightstream.com/talk. With average interest rates on credit card debt at 17% APR, Lightstream could save you thousands in interest. And because Lightstream is a division of SunTrust Bank, one of the nation's largest and strongest financial institutions, you can have complete peace of mind. The application takes just minutes, and there are no fees and no pressure. Just lower rates, one low fixed monthly payment, and huge savings. So if you have good credit, apply today and get a special interest rate discount when you go to lightstream.com/talk. That's lightstream.com/talk. Lightstream.com/talk.
Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.5% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com for more information.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A 9-year-old boy from Los Angeles makes the Dean's List for being a caped crusader and spreading the word about his love of police officers. Tyler Karich, who has been fondly called the Donut Boy, visited the LA Police Department to deliver donuts for law enforcement officers. Tyler began his mission to deliver the sweet treats to police departments nationwide when he was living in Florida. Since then, he has traveled around the U.S. to continue to thank cops for risking their lives. At each stop, he wears a donut printed cape with the words, "I don't need a reason to thank a cop."
They protect us, and even if they don't know us, they still protect us.
He's always just had a respect for law enforcement, so we're super proud of him. We can't wait to see what the future holds for him and see what kind of officer he turns out to be.
Well done, Tyler. I mean, Donut Boy. Don't it ever change, my friend. You made the Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk, 97.1.
A radio.com station.
Denver's flare on Capitol Hill. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. A sometimes raucous joint committee hearing in Washington today, where GOP lawmakers are grilling the FBI agent at the center of the Clinton email and Russian election meddling probe. Fox's John Decker joins us live.
Embattled FBI agent Peter Strzok forcefully defended his actions in those investigations after Republicans on the House Oversight Committee questioned him over the anti-Trump text messages he sent to then FBI agent Lisa Page.
These texts represent personal beliefs just like those that you'd find on my personal phone. What these texts do not represent is any act, any suggestion of an act, any consideration that we need to do this or not do this.
Republicans on the committee have charged that Strzok's texts were evidence that he was biased to clear Clinton and go after then-candidate Donald Trump. Rich?
John, President Trump has left the NATO meeting in Brussels and is now in the UK for talks with Prime Minister Theresa May and Queen Elizabeth. The president today tweeting a letter from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Kim praising the president and the improved relationship between Washington and Pyongyang. The letter does not mention denuclearization. An American service member was killed today in Afghanistan.
U.S. officials tell Fox an American service member was killed in a joint combat operation with Afghan forces in eastern Afghanistan Thursday. It's the second American service member killed in action since Saturday. The Pentagon is withholding the slain service member's identity until next of kin notifications are complete. It's not immediately clear what caused the U.S. casualty. An Afghan soldier was also killed, and several were wounded, according to one official. 4 U.S. service members have been killed in action in Afghanistan this year, following 11 in 2017.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. Stocks are rallying today as investor optimism over the economy is buffering concerns over a trade war. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
We first opened about 10 years ago. We were small, just a few of us, but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans, but in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
97.1 News Time, 2:03. Good afternoon. I'm Tony Colombo. A report released by U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill says the top 3 pharmaceutical companies shipped 1.6 billion addictive prescriptive drugs to Missouri from 2012 to 2017. The report points out that the companies have also consistently failed over the past 10 years to report suspicious opioid users. Starting tomorrow, MoDOT will begin road work on a lengthy stretch of I-55 through Jefferson County. Drivers can expect lane closures as well as ramp closures that will reroute you to other exits to get off the interstate. The project will last 18 days and will begin just after rush hour traffic starts to wind down tomorrow morning. Governor Mike Parson was in Springfield this morning to sign a bill cutting the highest personal income tax rate from 5.9% to 5.5%. The tax cut will take effect on January 1st. This news update brought to you by Mattress Direct. FM News Talk 97.1 is now available on radio.com. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Don't let car trouble turn your summer vacation into a staycation. Come to Meineke for the summer road trip special and get a tire rotation and AC, battery, brake, and wiper check for just $14.95. Book online at Meineke.com. Meineke, on with life.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Law Office of Lance Drury here in St. Louis. I'm sure you've seen or heard ads where people owed the IRS thousands of dollars and their tax bills were miraculously reduced to nothing. I'm here to tell you, the same companies that run those ads are the ones that routinely force clients to call me when they don't resolve their IRS problems and stop returning calls. Look, the IRS doesn't make it easy to resolve a case. So don't waste precious time and money. Contact me, Lance Drury, today. I'm a local tax attorney and I've helped hundreds resolve their IRS problems quickly and cost efficiently. Schedule a free confidential appointment and let's take control of your situation and protect your legal rights. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an experienced tax attorney. You need me, Lance Drury. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app. Available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I got it.
We're fixed.
We're all fixed.
Yes.
We're all repaired. What is going on here? Let me try to shut this off.
I don't hear anything.
I got Ghost in the Machine over here. Did I get it?
Yeah.
Yep, you got it.
We got Ghost in the Machine over here. This is high tech. And there's a lot of high tech stuff going on.
Hey, live radio, baby.
And Frank can hear things that we can't.
Live
so,
radio,
you know.
and you just
I had a
never know.
Kind of roll with it. I was
never
trying to bring up this thing I saw about I got to get this website shut down. That's what's jamming me up here. All right, we're going to start over here with my little I think the NSA is tapped in, Tony.
Yes.
That's what's going on.
I think you're right.
I'm going to hear black helicopters here in a minute.
Something interesting happened while you were interviewing State Rep.
Yes. Phil Cristofanelli.
Cristofanelli.
Yeah.
I was reading his name before I pronounced it because I didn't want to mispronounce it. As you know, the Peter Strzok testimony is continues.
I keep trying to watch it, but I was trying to interview Phil, listen to you, and watch the television over your shoulder at the same time because, folks, this is fascinating TV. I mean, Strzok is just getting raked over the coals. Yeah. So what'd you see?
Lacey Clay.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to mention that, but they went to Lacey Clay.
Yes. So because we were talking to Phil, the state rep, I couldn't hear and I couldn't pay that close of attention to what was happening. So I glanced up for just a moment to see what Representative Clay was asking or what he was talking about. And when I looked up and I tried to read the closed captioning as he was talking to Peter Strzok, Lacey Clay was only on a tangent about the president at NATO calling our ally Germany, saying that they were under the control of Russia.
What does that have to do with this hearing?
What is this? What is he doing? What is the point he is making right now? He was just literally, from what I could tell. Now,
so he was campaigning.
Again, I'm only reading the closed captioning as we're doing an interview in here, so I didn't hear the whole thing.
Right.
But it certainly appeared to me that it was just pure grandstanding.
Well, the Democrats don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does Peter Strzok have to do with the president and what he said about Germany and NATO a couple days ago?
Well, because Lacey Clay, as we found out today, has a left of him progressive Democrat socialist running against him in the primary, and Ocasio-Cortez is going to come in to support Lacey Clay's opponent. And so Tony, there was a
things are getting heated with Louis Gohmert right now.
Oh, Louis! Ooh, look at Strzok's body language.
Mm-hmm.
This is great television.
I love it when these guys argue. I love
it it's fun.
Yeah, can we hear it for a second?
No, the disgrace is what this man has done.
The gentleman from
justice.
Texas will suspend for a moment.
There is the disgrace. And it won't be recaptured anytime soon because of the damage you've done to the justice system.
Louis Gohmert's fired up.
He is. Tammy Bruce summed this all up really well. I got a really short clip here. And Louis Gohmert's a Republican, but I think him and the Democrat are going back and forth at each other because, as we were saying, Tony, they don't want to talk about this. They don't want to talk about the fact that an FBI agent said, F Trump, we've got an insurance policy, don't worry about it, we'll take him down, and then goes on television and says he's not a biased guy.
Yeah, that he holds no bias.
So Tammy Bruce says this.
When it comes to what we need here in this country is a genuine, thoughtful, balanced, fair approach to justice. And that's what Kavanaugh represents for the Supreme Court. But this meltdown, we've seen it across the board. And I think in general, it's because they really don't know what else to do because the president is doing so well.
Yeah, we can't have policy discussions anymore.
Somebody just asked Louis Gohmert if he needed his medication. That's the level we've reached.
Woo. Exactly. There's Exhibit A. Yes. Exhibit A is happening right now as we speak, and you can be like us and do three things at once. Yeah. I don't recommend it.
I won't say it again. But
no, it's fine.
It was just something.
No,
to see.
It's hard not to. We could just play this, and it would be I listened to it all the way in. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And the Republicans are trying to get to the bottom of what. Here's what they're trying to do. The Republicans are trying to get to the bottom of what occurred during the election cycle, and the Democrats don't want to talk about it because they know that's really what happened. Mm-hmm. And this Russian-Trump collusion is the foil and the smoke and the mirrors, and that's not good. I got poor Austin Berg hanging on. Austin, sorry. Almost forgot about you. I'm very sorry, my friend.
It's very distracting what's happening.
Guys, we've got real fireworks to talk about.
Well done.
That's right. Well, excellent segue. We're going to now talk to Austin Berg, who's at the Illinois Policy Institute, frequent guest on the Annie Frey Show and on the Tim Jones Show and on the Mark Cox Show and all of our other shows. And Austin, first of all, let me give you my condolences because you do live in the People's Republic of Illinois. I'm very sorry. So
that's okay. Don't worry. I got family in Southern Illinois, so sometimes I can go over to the Missouri side of the border if I need.
Exactly. Very much like it isn't. I mean, Austin. We joke about it, but it's true. But for one little tiny county up in the north eastern corner, Illinois and Illinoisans are very much like common sense Missourians.
I would agree, but I would also say that with the caveat of we've had some pretty terrible fiscal conservatives as well, purporting to be Republicans in Illinois from some of those regions, and a lot of that has to do with the power structure of Cook County. But there are other ways that those things can be felt and influenced, and one of them is through public sector unions, for instance. And those people have been very adept at funding Republicans for a long time.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about kind of the fallout of Janus and what's next. But let me ask you first about the main reason I wanted you on today was, we'll wrap up Independence Week. Everybody's been on vacation, and it was right in the middle of the week last week, and we discovered that. And you all discovered that Illinois can't ban enough things. They can't take fun away enough, and apparently now. It's a fireworks ban. That's the latest thing. Guns weren't good enough. Now we got to ban fireworks as well.
Well, the fireworks ban in Illinois it's been around for 75 years. It's more of a case of inaction than action, right? These things have been this has been the law of the land for a really long time, since things like barn fires were like a very big state concern, and it's just stayed on the books. And so all of our surrounding states in Illinois, and almost every state in the country, you can legally buy, you can legally sell, you can legally use fireworks. But in Illinois, if you shoot off a Roman candle, you can get a misdemeanor fine, and you could go to jail.
Wow, Austin, is that a state law? That's a statewide law?
Correct. That's a statewide law. We're actually one of only 4 states that does this. Massachusetts bans all fireworks, sparklers, the whole kit and caboodle. Illinois is one of only 3 states where we ban everything except, rinky-dink things like sparklers.
Wow. Has there ever been a movement to let kids have fun on the 4th of July in the state of Illinois?
I found when I was researching my column on this, I found actually a newspaper article from 1877 in Chicago, and it was complaining that the paper boys from this paper, which is long gone, they could have no fun on the 4th of July because the Sydney Ordinance banned all fireworks. And they said, the city kids don't get to have any fun, and the country kids get to have all the fun. Well, now the city kids and the country kids across Illinois don't get to have any fun. And the state of Illinois obviously loses out on tons of business because adults are going to buy these things because they're fun and it's a celebration of our independence. But they're going to do so across state lines. It's just you're shooting yourself in the foot.
You really,
and overused metaphor.
Well, and how easy is it? How easy is it for anybody who lives in Illinois, anywhere near the metro area of St. Louis? All they got to do, it's a stupid law, right? Because it's so easily worked around. All they got to do is hop across the river, go to one of our many counties. Now, we do have some counties in Missouri that ban fireworks, but those are really the congested areas, congested counties. I border on 3 counties, and I can go to any of my surrounding counties outside of St. Louis County, and I can buy fireworks. The tents are right there on the border. So that's all Illinoisans have to do, right? It's such a silly law.
It's ridiculous. And another good, so one way you can tell if it's a stupid law is if you can easily get around it by, moving a mile away. Another way to tell if something's a stupid law is if it was actually enforced, most of your population would be in jail. So that's really the case with Illinois fireworks. For doing something that is of no harm to anybody else. Of course, you're going to have people getting noise complaints, and of course you're going to, and I'll tell you, every year I get almost more angry emails about saying Illinois should legalize fireworks than I do about any other issue, and we talk about a lot of touchy stuff in Illinois. So I know that people have some strong feelings about this, but I'll just say that a vast majority of other states have done this safely, have done this in a common sense way, and this is, a fundamental right of being an American is celebrating your independence in this way. I can tell you, my Southern Illinois family is no safer than folks in Missouri because of this fireworks ban.
Well, and they're definitely no safer than, or they're definitely not more. How about the city of Chicago, which bans everything, including firearms, but all firearms, I imagine, and one of the most dangerous cities in the nation. So banning an instrument or a tool doesn't fix the problem that you're trying to go after generally.
And it's somewhat of a similar dynamic because where do those guns come from that are in Chicago? Northwest Indiana. And same thing with fireworks, right? I mean, it's not a workable solution when it comes to fireworks at all. And thankfully, we actually saw Barb Wheeler, an Illinois Republican, file a bill on July 3rd saying to license and regulate the legal sale and use of fireworks in Illinois. It's already got 2 co-sponsors. We've got a petition up on our website to legalize fireworks. It's got almost 10,000 signatures already. I think people are ready to get rid of this because every year is just a reminder of the state, as you said, needlessly sucking the marrow out of people's lives with something like this. It's so common sense, and it's just another, kind of poke in the eye at people who live in Illinois, and it should be totally repealed immediately.
Speaking to Austin Berg, Director of Content Strategy over at the Illinois Policy Institute. You can follow them, and you can read this article and a ton of other material at illinoispolicy.org. Austin, people may think, how cute, that's nice. They have a fireworks ban, big deal, but it's just an example of a bigger problem, isn't it? Illinois seems to find more and more ways, and this has been on the books a long time, as you mentioned, but every year, Springfield, as in Springfield, Illinois, where the capital is, they seem to come up with more devices and more laws and regulations to drive people out of Illinois. I mean, they should be wanting to get rid of bans and things that aren't good for people, because I think for 2 years running now, Illinois has lost more people population-wise than any other state in the union.
I mean, yeah, we've had 4 consecutive years of population decline. The only other state that's had more is West Virginia, which has had 5. And whenever you're in the same sentence with West Virginia when it comes to demographics, that's not a good thing. So, yeah, we should absolutely be looking to repeal things like this. And, yeah, it's small potatoes, of course. But as you said, it's symbolic. And the other thing I would mention is that it's actually, you can see in the conversation around this, there's way too much talk of, hey, if we legalize it, we can get all this new tax revenue.
Okay.
That's a secondary concern. The primary concern is the fact that this is a total nanny state type of move. It's disrespectful to, consenting adults wanting to do what they want to do on their 4th of July. A spillover benefit, of course, is that we're a broke state and that this could generate new sales tax revenue, just like any other item. But if that were the case, that should be offset with a tax reduction somewhere else. That should be totally revenue neutral, and the primary reason to repeal this ban is not tax revenue.
Austin, you just referenced a point in your article that I'm looking at right here, and you got this paragraph here where you make such a brilliant point, is that isn't it sad that Illinois, the once great land of Lincoln, the first state to ratify the 13th Amendment for freedom, right, for to move that question forward, they've gone to the opposite extreme, haven't they, where they take freedoms away through their overregulation, their overtaxation, their over-litigation. A great city, a great state like Illinois, we make fun of Chicago a lot, but we like to visit it down here in St. Louis. It's a great city. Isn't it a shame that they try to find more and more ways to move people out, because they are the ultimate nanny state in the country, maybe next to California?
Yeah, I mean, we have tons of different regulations that are just old, archaic vestiges of another time. But I think the encouraging thing about that is more and more people are becoming aware of this, and we have all these tools on IllinoisPolicy.org, as you said, to contact lawmakers about this stuff. And just like any other movement for freedom, it's going to come from the grassroots. So I think people should be hopeful that if you call a lawmaker, if you sign the petition, send an email. My guess, this is a big guess, but within the next 5 years, this ban will be repealed in Illinois. It's been the trend across the country for the last 10 years. State after state after state has gotten rid of these bans because they're all old. They're all from the 1920s and 30s, and fireworks have become much safer. And guess what? Even as all of these states have started legalizing fireworks, the number of emergency room visits for fireworks has been flat, no effect whatsoever. So the safety argument for me, in fact, the best safety argument is legalizing these things, because they can be licensed and regulated, and people can get good advice for what they buy. So absolutely, and I think people should definitely contact their lawmaker about this if they care about it. It's symbolic of a ton of other issues we have. But hey, we might have high taxes, but we should at least be able to blow some stuff up on the 4th of July.
Absolutely. Hey, Austin, could I ask you one question as we wrap up here about the Janus decision?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we're fascinated by that because, of course, we're right next to the state that started. Mark Janus is in Illinois, and he's from Illinois. He took a case all the way to the Supreme Court. It went in his favor. We here in Missouri, we're just trying to, keep the Republican majorities we have, keep our common sense. We have a balanced budget, and we just lowered taxes again. These are all wonderful things. But we look at Illinois, and we don't want Illinois to fail. It's so strange that you've got these two states next to each other, and Illinois is so deep blue. Is the Janus decision going to affect that at all? Is it going to make Illinois maybe a little more purple as the years go on?
Well, I'll say this. Mark Janus, who I've met and spoken with many times, is a complete hero of mine, and he's really emblematic of the power of one person to stand up for his rights and affect millions of other people in the United States. And it was a fantastic day in June when the Supreme Court ruled in his favor. These people no longer have to make this unconstitutional choice of keeping my job as a public servant or paying a union. And really, I think that is what the case is about. It might have political effects. It might have other effects on state spending. That's not really what the case is about. The case is about the First Amendment. Just like we said how the fireworks ban is about personal freedom, the Janus case is about personal freedom. Who should control the relationship with the union, the worker or the union? We believe it's the worker, and the Supreme Court agreed with that, and I could not be happier about that victory.
Whether it's fireworks or workers' choice, you can read all about all these great ideas for not only the state of Illinois and Illinois policymakers, but really ideas that could be transformational for every state government, every citizen to look at IllinoisPolicy.org. Austin Berg, thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck maybe having a more festive 4th of July next year in Illinois.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care. Yeah, great points there. Over-regulation, over-taxation, over-litigation, it really doesn't accomplish much of anything except make people more miserable. And Austin was pointing out there, Tony, that if you actually look at facts and studies and things like that are real, there is no correlation between banning fireworks and anybody being safer. In fact, it's actually gone down over the last few years. Just let people exercise some common sense, right?
Absolutely.
Freedoms,
personal freedoms.
That's right. If
you're not hurting me, you're not hurting yourself, not hurting anybody else. Let people have their personal freedoms.
Louis Gohmert behind you. Louis Gohmert's buddy Ted Poe is now fired up, man. Texas is giving it to Peter Strzok right now on Capitol Hill.
These guys, it's great.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. It's good theater, but it's also important stuff because this is the stuff the Democrats do not want to talk about. We'll keep talking about that all and more when we keep rolling along with the Annie Frey Show. Tim Jones in for Annie Frey. Here on a wonderful Thursday. We'll be back with lots more after this at FM News Talk 97.1.
There's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come. This is my kingdom come.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. The news and information.
Judge Kavanaugh is a Supreme Court nominee.
Views and conversation.
Hell no on Kavanaugh! Hell no! I'm concerned about my grandchildren.
We're your voice.
This nomination battle really is incredibly important.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
I want someone that's going to follow the Constitution and do what we need to do for the American people.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Looking for a solution to high real estate fees? Homeowners Alternative will list your home for as little as 1%. That's right, 1%. Take advantage of this outstanding seller's market. HomeownersAlternative.com. Common sense real estate fees.
There are 100 reasons why I could tell you that Kennelwood Pet Resorts is the most wonderful place to send your pet. But I'm going to tell you of just a couple here real quick because I don't have a whole lot of time. They provide 24-hour care 365 days a year. They don't take a day off because you don't get to take a day off from taking care of your pet. If you do need to take a break, they are there to make that simple for you so that you can trust turning your dog over into the care of Kennelwood Pet Resorts, whether it's grooming or boarding facilities or training or whatever it is, day camp. They have everything. They have a puppy play date. This is scheduled a supervised play date on the first Wednesday of every month. It is free for puppies 6 months and younger, and they can come in and play as often as they would like until they reach 6 months of age. Reservations are recommended. If you're interested in that puppy play date, give them a call. You can call them at 314-429-2100, 314-429-2100, or you can visit them online to learn everything you need to know about all of the wonderful facilities that Kennelwood has, including that brand new one in Maryville, Illinois. Kennelwood.com.
Lincoln Power Sports is your place to find all your power sports needs. ATVs, motorcycles, side-by-sides, and so much more. Number one in customer service, price savings, and never any out-the-door fees. Suzuki, Arctic Cat, Textron Off-Road, Kimco, Hustler, Echo, and Shendoa Power Products. Highly trained service and parts department. Oil and tire changes while you wait. Hassle-free sales and service. Lincoln Power Sports, located in Moscow Mills. Visit them online at LincolnPowersports.com.
At RP Lumber, we know that Midwest weather can wreak havoc on your home. Protect your investment with Owens Corning True Definition Duration Architectural Shingles. Bold contrast, deep dimension, and outstanding performance. True Definition Duration Shingles go beyond the impressive curb appeal. With patented Sure-Nail technology, a true breakthrough in roofing. Available in stock or for delivery. Shop one of our 68 well-stocked stores or online at rplumber.com. For best service, for best value, it's RP Lumber.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Omis with Better Sleep STL. Most people are unaware that breathing disorders can affect children as well as adults. Mouth breathing and the lack of proper sleep can have negative effects on a child's development, performance in school, extracurricular activities, and social relationships. Signs and symptoms in children may include snoring or heavy breathing, difficulty falling asleep at night or staying awake during the day, ADHD-type mood behavior, recurrent ear infections, crooked teeth, and even bedwetting. The good news is there are early treatment options available to remedy pediatric sleep disorders, including permanent corrective dental treatments, allowing your child to get a better night's rest and a healthy start in their development. In addition, my office is one of just a few facilities certified in the safest, most effective treatments to naturally promote pediatric airway growth and development. For more information, please contact me today at 636-978-0200 888-0226 or visit HealthyStartUSA.com to schedule your child's complimentary evaluation.
If you're retiring in the next 5 years, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with Stifel and host of On the Money, heard every Saturday from 11 till noon on FM News Talk 97.1. Retirement is a huge step, and when it comes to investing your retirement assets, you can't afford to make mistakes. It's vitally important that you work with an experienced professional to guide you through important retirement decisions. If you're retiring soon, we should meet to develop a clear plan for your retirement goals. Your meeting is an opportunity to understand your retirement situation and discuss how you can proceed. Of course, your consultation is free of charge and requires no obligation on your part. If you're retiring in the next 5 years, now is the time to start planning. To schedule your free retirement plan review, visit bobstockdale.com or call me at 636-448-7655. That's bobstockdale.com or 636-448-7655. Stifel, member FINRA, SIPC, and NYSE.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, so the Strzok hearings continue up on Capitol Hill. And meanwhile, there's lots more going up on Capitol Hill. Judge Brett Kavanaugh, is making the rounds. And Tony and I were talking in the break about something fascinating that Frank Luntz is, an interesting Frank Luntz theory. Mm-hmm. And Tony, I got a clip here that will segue perfectly into that from what you were referencing. So let's hear what Ronna McDaniel, who is the RNC chairwoman, weighed in on this very subject either yesterday or this morning.
All these Democrats who are hugging President Trump and telling their voters we'll support the president, they are going to be put to the test, because if they will not support a mainstream conservative jurist, they're going to show their voters that they're lying. Same thing and doing another. John Tester took out a full-page ad when President Trump came to Montana saying, I support President Trump on all these issues. I'll work with him. So Heidkamp, Donnelly, Manchin, Tester, Nelson, they're all going to be put to the test. And this is going to be a dividing line for them with their voters.
Yeah, and Ronna didn't mention it, but every time they put the graphic up about this issue, our very own Claire McCaskill is prominently featured. So Ronna's basic point is, what is a red state Democrat to do? And Trump loves that this is an issue, and Frank Luntz has a little theory about why this is an issue at this point.
I wanted to get your thoughts specifically on this, because I thought this was a fascinating take. Frank Luntz, he was on CNN for years. He's a pollster. He was the guy that you always see on election night. He's got his little group of voters, and they all hold their little buttons, and they hit the button when they like something, or they hit the other button when they don't like something.
Focus
and they
group testing.
The focus groups, they watch them, and and
we do that over at First Rule. I've run focus groups, Tony.
Oh, very cool.
It is fascinating. We developed our own software called Dialogos, and it is a fascinating psychological experiment. I really enjoy doing it because you really get into people's minds, and if you have a good focus group, they'll really start talking.
Yeah.
So he discovered something.
He does that. So that's who he is. Now he was on CNN for years, and now he's a Fox News contributor, and you'll see him on the various Fox programs. And I saw him on a couple of shows over the last couple of weeks making the point that in 2016, he believes, and I think that he's right, that the president and the Trump campaign did a really good job of using the Supreme Court as one of the big issues in his campaign.
Yes.
And basically painting the point of, you may not like Donald Trump the person, or maybe everything he says and does, but you need to vote for the Republican candidate for president, no matter who they are, because they're going to get Supreme Court nominations, and you don't want a Democrat to be able to fill that court with a bunch of liberal judges that will then be in charge for decades.
And it was an easy argument because the Scalia replacement was hanging in the balance.
Exactly.
It was waiting.
Right. So they did a great job, I think, of using the court as motivation to get people who may not have otherwise had that motivation to vote for Donald Trump. They didn't, but these conservative-minded people didn't want to lose the court. Frank Luntz says that for that reason exactly, because it was such a motivator for people in 2016 to vote Republican, that the GOP should delay confirmation hearings on Brett Kavanaugh until after the midterms and use once again the dangling upcoming confirmation hearings as part of the election until these Republican voters that may not be motivated to pay attention so much to a midterm or get out and vote in a midterm. A lot of people only vote, when it's the presidential elections on, and say, look, we've got to get Brett Kavanaugh on the court, and we've got to make sure that we have this majority in the Senate in case we get another nomination in the next couple of years, another opportunity to nominate in the next couple of years. So hold back the confirmation hearings until after the election and use that issue to motivate conservative voters to get out and vote in the midterm and hopefully then solidify your lead in the Senate. Obviously, the risk is if your plan backfires, you lose the Senate. Now you have Brett Kavanaugh sitting there and probably not going to get confirmed to the Supreme Court because you played this risky game. I see where Frank Luntz is coming from. I'm not sure that he's wrong, but it would take an awful lot of guts to not confirm this this nominee when you have the opportunity. What are your thoughts on it?
He's exactly right. And there's nothing wrong with that because Donald Trump has decided he is not going to let the Democrats be the only ones to play the political game in an election year. And so I would agree with Luntz let me tell you, I would bet that went into Justice Kennedy's decision-making process as to why to retire now. Because right now, President Trump is president. The Republicans control the Senate and the House. There was just an election about 19 months ago, and those people were all just put into power. And so right now, the president can say, I've got a mandate. I had a clear electoral college win. That's the process under which we play. Not only did I win the presidency, but Republicans were returned to the House and the Senate. Therefore, we should have somebody who's put up on the bench. Elections have consequences, as Barack Obama and Valerie Jarrett told us many, many times. So it should be somebody from our party. Or not from our party. Our party should get to make the pick.
Yeah.
Our party should get to make the pick.
Yeah.
Judges are nonpartisan. To the victor of the
spoils.
Yeah, to the victor of the spoils. I would not risk going through the election, though. I would run it all the way up to...
Hold it till the end.
All the way up to it and do it. And let me tell you, Tony, I'm looking for an email here. Guess what? And the media will never report this. The Democrats are doing the same exact thing. Let me read you a text message that one of my friends, I actually get some of these. I'm on Claire McCaskill's email list somehow. If they knew I was, they'd probably take me out. You know what? I haven't gotten any in a while. Maybe they have found out. One of my friends is on their text. They have a texting program. Very, very smart. Here's the text message. Okay, so if you're all going, well, that's not fair. Republicans shouldn't be playing politics with the Supreme Court. Let me read you the Hillary Clinton fundraising message that went out last night. Hi, I'm Claire, a Move On volunteer. Trump has nominated partisan conservative Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. His nomination threatens Roe v. Wade, protections for LGBTQ Americans, voting rights, and our health care. Will you demand a no vote on extremism? You can call Senator Claire McCaskill at blah, blah, blah and tell her to stop Kavanaugh. So Claire McCaskill's crew, maybe not her direct crew, people that support Claire McCaskill, she's sitting on the fence right now. People who support Claire McCaskill are using this nomination for political purposes. All, hey, you know what? Our audience should call Claire McCaskill. So I'm going to give you the number that went out in this text thing: 844-882-7787. That's probably the McCaskill switchboard somewhere. 844-882-7787. That's MoveOn.org. MoveOn.org volunteer is stumping for that. So it's a great point, Tony. I think it's exactly what's going on. And Trump has just realized how to fight fire with fire. And this will encourage people to not sit home, which they usually do in a midterm. So We'll, believe it or not, wrap things up when we come back, but we got lots more to roll through. We'll keep you updated on the Strzok hearings, talk a little bit more about Judge Kavanaugh, and more here at the it's the Annie Frey Show. I get so confused. It's a Thursday afternoon. It's you for sure. It's not a Sunday night. It's a Thursday afternoon, which means it's the Annie Frey Show. I'm sitting in for the vacationing Annie Frey here at FM News Talk 97.1. More straight ahead. Lots to get to next.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Lots of sunshine in control once again on this Thursday across the St. Louis area. It will be a hot afternoon. 92 for the high tonight. Clear skies, more humid, 70 degrees Friday and the weekend. Maybe a spot thunderstorm Friday. A little better chance of a couple of scattered thunderstorms Saturday and again on Sunday. 95 each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Don't think you can afford a new heating and cooling system? You can with 0% financing for 24 to 72 months on select heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com. Hey friends, it's Annie here, and I want to talk to you about Oasis Senior Advisors. If you or a loved one is looking to move into an independent or maybe an assisted living or memory care senior community sometime soon, or maybe your mom or dad recently had a fall or had surgery and it requires a quick move away from home that's going to help them thrive afterwards, there's an excellent resource for you right here in St. Louis, and that resource is Oasis Senior Advisors. What Oasis Senior Advisors does is they provide the help that you need, and they do it fast. Oasis Senior Advisors will come to you and they'll do a personal interview with you and your loved one to find the perfect place that can match your financial, your physical, and the mental needs of yourself or your loved one that is going to need that new community that they're going to be able to thrive in. And with Oasis Senior Advisors, here is the best part. There's never a fee for their services. Contact them today, 314-602-9998. Oasis Senior Advisors, 314-602-9998, because the right place means everything.
Ever wonder why certain jewelers try to convince you not to buy a world-class designer ring?
The reason that they are steering you away from designer rings is simply because they can't get them.
That's Michael Clavina, who used to work at an ordinary jewelry retailer.
They didn't have the ability to carry these lines, so they steer you away from it to steer you more towards their generic run-of-the-mill styles. The quality is a world of difference when you look closely at them. With mass production of pieces like the store that I used to work for, they don't have the quality control that these designers do.
But at Diamonds Direct, you can choose from over 4,000 rings from all the top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, Henry Dossi. Handcrafted rings on every woman's wish list.
When you combine the quality of the designers that we carry here at Diamonds Direct and our ability to offer pricing that is just unbeatable, it builds a piece for her that is unique to her and special in every way.
Diamonds Direct, where St. Louis gets engaged. Olive and 270 at City Place.
Spectrum Business is transforming how your business does business, because we're increasing our starting internet speeds up to 200 megabits per second without increasing our price. Now your business can get new, faster 200 meg Spectrum Business internet, still just $44.99 a month. That's more starting speed than you'll get from other providers. And when you think about just how many devices are connected to your network, computers, printers, cell phones, and everything else using your Wi-Fi, it's just what your business needs. Finally, you can get rid of your slow internet service and start focusing on getting things done. Switch to Spectrum Business today with speed other providers can't beat at a price they can't match. Get Spectrum Business Internet now with speeds up to 200 megabits per second, still only $44.99 a month when bundled with Spectrum Business Voice for $29.99 a month. Call 877-778-0860 or visit business.spectrum.com/200 today. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Want to try Black Rifle coffee but don't want to order online? Tactical in St. Peter's has every flavor in whole bean, ground, and K-Cups. This is Sig Glockencolt. Black Rifle coffee is to coffee what Tactical is to Black Rifles. Just off Highway 70 in St. Peter's. Black Rifle Coffee. The only place to get Black Rifle coffee in St. Louis is from Tactical in St. Peter's. This is Sig Glockencolt. Get your Black Rifle coffee, beans, ground, or K-Cups at Tactical. While you're here, build yourself a Black Rifle or customize yours.
What the hell's going on with conservatives? We stand for government interference in the private sector?
Mark Levin.
Well, outproduce them. Create something else. That's the American way.
Weeknights, 9 to midnight.
On FM News Talk
97.1.
The only way you can take FM News Talk 97.1 with you is the radio.com app, available on your smartphone in the App Store. Download the radio.com app today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
FM News Talk 97.1. This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast, on demand, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
It's a good Italian jig here, right, Tony Colombo? This is my other side. This is my Scotch-Irish side, you know?
You don't hear that one very often.
Great,
at the
great
Italian
stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, exactly.
gatherings.
More of the polka. Polka. I had a great uncle.
Good song, though.
Very good. Yeah, Frank's been rolling the good tunes today. So I had a great uncle. My great uncle John, Tony. He was German, and he played one of the only people I've ever met. He played the accordion.
Oh, cool.
Which is a very bizarre, complicated instrument. It's like you're holding a mini piano.
Which for years had a bad rap, but I think that people are coming around. And it's not as, used to be sort of made fun of.
Right.
And I think that some bands out there that have utilized the accordion in recent years have kind of made it at least sort of cool again in some sects.
Frank, who was that? Was that like the Pogues or something? Do you know? Was that the Pogues? Yeah.
It was all out of your folder of music.
Oh, I picked that one a long time ago,
Yes.
I guess. I don't remember. Yeah. I like the Pogues.
The Pogues, If I Should Fall From
No
Grace.
wonder he's rolling with the good music if he's using your old folder.
Yeah, I'm making zero choices here.
He's using your old folder.
Well, I don't know what you're doing over there. Don't put me at that. There's a lot of buttons and knobs and switches over there that.
I'm just happy you're taking care of all those buttons and knobs on that side.
We've kept all of us between the ditches today for the vacationing Annie Frey. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. We're in our last segment already, so this went great.
Time flies, man.
Gentlemen, you made it go extremely smoothly and well as always. So thanks for. It's weird. Like I said,
Great job.
There's a different feeling to all the shows. Walking in here at noon and doing noon to 3 in the afternoon is very different than getting down here at 4:30 in the morning. As the sun's rising and people are like getting ready and we're going moving real fast. Everybody's moving a little slower in the afternoon.
Try going from Annie's show to Dave's show every day. Topics are slightly different.
Do you need medication for that?
And you know what, though? It's a perfect... I live every day what the listeners have, through the years, either have through their calls or their Facebook or Twitter posts or just through the ratings, have proven throughout the workday, in the morning and in the early afternoon, people want to hear all about the politics,
Yes.
the news of the day. But when they're off work and they're driving home, Dave's show's on, they're ready to
absolutely
have fun, laugh about something.
Absolutely.
And decompress. And so it's a perfect, Annie's show is, we keep you engaged in everything that's happening throughout the day. And then
Yeah,
it's
but
pretty
by happy
heavy.
hour,
Yeah. But then, when everybody's on their way home and Dave's on, we lighten it up a little bit and have a lot of fun. So
Hopefully-
I get to do that every day. So
Hopefully Trey Gowdy will be on the monitors when Dave's in here.
I've got to
Because
get
the hair today is it's different than it's ever been before. Which I guess you could say that every day.
Every day.
Jim Jordan was just raking. I mean, Peter Struck. Jim Jordan definitely pulled out some good questions because Peter Struck on the advice of FBI counsel.
Yeah.
And they said it was because of the ongoing investigation. But whatever the case may be, he declined to answer the line of questioning from Jim Jordan. So
he's done that quite a bit.
Long day for Peter Strzok. And we're trying to watch this and talk to you at the same time. But, darn it, I was just going to go to Caller Bob. I looked over and he dropped. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Caller Bob. There's so much going on.
What was the topic? You remember?
It was about what you brought up. It was
Frank Luntz.
It was about what you brought up about the Frank Luntz and
Frank Luntz theory.
I think Caller Bob was he was disappointed that there would be like a strategy and a game plan. I'm sorry to tell you, Bob, that's what politics is these days.
That's all politics. It's
you
got to
get your
sides.
And it's both sides. So, Bob, if you want to call back, I do have some time.
Yeah.
314, or if anybody else wants to call in, 314-241-9797, 866-455-9797. Yeah, I wasn't ignoring Caller Bob at all. In fact, that's what he was talking about. He was saying he was probably gonna take us to task a little bit, and maybe this is him calling back in, but we'll get him on. But I can't believe how fast the last 3 hours went. We had awesome conversation with Austin Berg from the Illinois Policy Institute. Phil Cristofanelli's a great dude, isn't he?
Yes.
Great, gives you hope for the future.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. The future is in good hands.
He's that generation behind you and I. So are you?
I'm a Gen X.
I am too. I'm 47, so we're Gen X. I'm on the one end. You're a little closer to the other. What's after us? Is it Y?
Millennials.
Y or millennials?
Millennials are right.
Millennials.
Millennials are like.
Okay.
Millennials are in their like mid to late 30s.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah. Let me get Bob on here now.
Yep.
Bob, welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Go right ahead.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you. My opinion is if the Senate did follow that strategy, it would piss me off.
Okay.
Right now, it's not a slam dunk, but it's pretty good that Kavanaugh's going to get confirmed.
Okay.
If you delay it, well, yeah, as you said, you take a risk. But it would piss me off that they waited just as a mechanism.
Right. I actually agree with you, Bob. They should not wait. The opening is there. They've got a nominee. They should vet him, have the hearings, and then have the vote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely agree, Bob. Hey, thanks for calling back. Glad we got you on. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
There are a lot of campaign managers and political strategists all over, though, that whether like it or not, and I agree that it's gross.
Yes.
Agree. It's gross. But their job is to find any way they can.
Absolutely.
To what can we do in this election to motivate people to vote, and what can we do to make our candidate look good and the other candidate look bad. So they are out there exploring all of these, if you want to call them tricks or strategies. That's what these people make a living doing.
Yes.
And so I understand that you don't like it, but unfortunately that's the way our government is.
Let me get Dave on here as we wrap up. I think Dave's doing the same thing we're doing. He's watching the Strzok hearing and listening to us. Dave, go right ahead.
Now, Tim, good to talk to you. I was a member at the Legends for a long time. I love you. You're a great guy.
Hey, thank you.
I just was telling your call screener that I'm sitting here in amazement. I'm living in a surreal world where I'm watching a guy that has all these texts out there that cannot be taken any other way than what he meant them. And he is denying that he had any bias whatsoever. If I was in a testimony in a trial, I would already be under the jail. I mean, this is crazy. I know this is not a criminal proceeding, but it's just amazing to me that we've come to the point in our country where we are so unbelievably divided, but divided, and I look at it in terms of being divided in reality and unreality.
Yeah, Dave, the political worlds have so polarized themselves that you're right. Every day, every issue has two different realities to it, doesn't it?
It's absolutely unbelievable, and we have gotten to the point where I don't know. And you've been at the highest level in the state government. I don't know if we can put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, that is a great question, and definitely a topic for a longer discussion. But I question that as well. And now the Democratic Party is literally electing people and also saying that they're their future Democratic socialists. They're saying that is the future of their party. I don't know that anybody in America is ready for that yet, but if that's what they want to do to themselves, I guess go ahead. Well, that could be the end of their party. I don't know. It's wild.
It it really is. And I would just say in closing that, and you've heard other people say this, but I would coach anybody. I was a history major in college. Go back and find out anywhere in the history of the world where socialism has ever worked, ever.
Yes.
It doesn't. And what blows my mind is all these Hollywood liberals and these limousine liberals that have all this money, millions and millions of dollars, and they're for socialism. If real socialism happened here, like the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, the first people that they would go to and put in jail and take their money away are these people that are advocating for it.
Absolutely. Dave. Yeah, Dave. Hey, I got to run, my friend, but thanks so much for calling. It's great to talk to you again.
You too.
Yeah, you have a great day. Yeah, that was a quick show. Thanks everybody for listening. Tony, you got
time flies when you're having fun.
The Dave Glover show is right after us.
Yep.
After the top of the hour break. And do you got anything special you want to tease up at all, or do you know?
It is. It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Think Tank Day.
Think Tank Day.
And a very interesting think tank. The Think Tank debut of one Andrew the American Taliban.
No way.
And it's Andrew, Mark Close, and Crane Durham.
Whoa. That just made me dizzy.
That's going to be it's going to be a unique think tank, and I can't wait. I think we're also going to talk to Brian Kilmeade.
Okay.
Dave Murray, who, of course, just announced that he is retiring, but he's going to continue on the Dave Glover Show even after his retirement in I think, September.
I loved your all's interview with Dave yesterday. That was all. I listened to the whole thing. It was fascinating.
And
I love Dave Murray.
The reason that Andrew is on the think tank today is because today is the American Taliban's birthday. So happy birthday, Andrew.
Happy birthday to Andrew. We could not be happier to wish him a happy birthday. Thank you all for listening to all of us today. Tim Jones in for Annie Frey, the vacationing Annie Frey, the Mickey Mousing Annie Frey.
Yes.
She'll be back probably next week or so or whenever. And Crane Durham is in tomorrow. I'm back next week on Wednesday.
Cool.
Tony Colombo, Dave, Rachel, Mark, and the whole Dave DGS gang is coming up to you for you right next. So keep it right here on FM News Talk 97.1.
Another glass of that rock and roll. Turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at brooklinen.com. So here's the analogy I've been using, and I like it a lot. There are certain things in life, product, services, that I could technically afford. I could write a check that wouldn't bounce. I could get credit